Hey y'all, I'm Coach Quay.
And I'm Coach Brandon.
And we're inviting you to come join us at Auxiliary the Collegiate Way. You'll be getting trained by some of the best HBCU dancers in the SWAC. You'll be learning marches and struts, stance, and choreography. This is not your ordinary stand camp. You'll be learning some of the baddest field shows on the floor.
And this camp is not just for the dancers, it's also for our twirlers and our color guards. That's right, we have collegiate instructors coming specifically to train our twirlers and our color guards on the level it takes to be a collegiate twirler and a collegiate color guard on the field and in the stands.
Oh, and don't forget about the showcase.
That's right, the showcase. On June 7th, we're inviting you out to come support the campers as we put on a showcase. Last year's showcase was amazing, so imagine what this year's showcase will be. The camp dates are June 3rd through 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Camp registration per dancer is $150. However, if you are a team and you're going to be bringing 10 or more dancers, we have a special payment link for you. Hit us personally on the Passion in Performance contact, all right? Make sure you come out. Quay, let's get out of here. Hit him with the ocean beat. Oh, you ain't leaving me behind. I'm coming right out here, sis. I'm coming.
What's up? Welcome back to State of the Auxiliary Podcast, hosted every Sunday at 7 p.m. I am your host, Jacque Porter. Brandon will be on shortly, but we're going to keep things going. All right. How are y'all doing? I'm so excited. This week, we have higher administration on with us. I'm excited about the conversations we're going to have and just ready to get into some things. We have two beautiful ladies going to be on with us. They have so much to do with everything that we have going on with our programs and arts, and they've come up and learned so many things, and I'm just excited to learn from them. These ladies, I look up to them, and I can't wait to share it with you. All right, we're going to get into some announcements. Prince and JSS auditions 2024. Application deadline is due May 10th. The application deadline is due in person March 1st, which has already passed, and the deadline to participate is May 10th. So you still have time to get that in. If you're auditioning, you need to try out or train with someone who has experienced the Prince and JSS or is able to train you. We have the Fabulous Dancing Dolls auditions. Applications have opened already, and registration has closed April 6th. May 4th are auditions in person, and it will be in the Isaac Greg Fan Hall. We have the Silkette and Spartan Guard pre-audition training and auditions. We still have May 4th, which is coming up soon this weekend. We have May 18th, June 1st, June 8th, and July 6th. So if you're looking to train, get into those dates. Their training is from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they have scholarship opportunities. We have the Royal Doors flag line. They are looking for freshmen. So if you are interested in being and don't check them out. Their information, they've already had submissions for their auditions, which was April 25th, so the deadline has passed. All right, we have a Battle of the Bands coming up May 4th, which is this weekend. We have some of our baddest high school bands in Dallas, Texas. We have Townview, Sunset, Samuel, Carter, and Kimball. The date is May 4th, which is this weekend. Will be held at Forrester Stadium, which is 8233 Military Parkway, Dallas, Texas. If you're interested, please be there. It's going to be a show. All right, so we have our beautiful young ladies who are going to be on with us. Higher administration. These are the ladies who are behind the scenes, okay? They run everything and make everything what you see, okay? We have Miss Hope Crockett and we have Devondria Douglas. They're going to be on tonight with us, and I'm very excited. I can't wait. I know the conversation is going to be good. All right, we have our camp, Auxiliary the Collegiate Way, which is June 3rd through the 7th, 2024. Camp is from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., open to all dancers and genders. So if you're interested from 6th to 12th grade, you want to register. This camp is not your ordinary camp. This camp is going to be good for anybody who is looking to dance in a professional world or a collegiate world. You'll be trained by some of the baddest HBCU dancers and color guard and twirlers from the SWAC. Registration is $150 per dancer. And we have a showcase on June 7th, which is free entry. Group rates are available. If you happen to have more than 10 dancers attending camp, please DM us so we can give you those group rates. I would like for everyone to come out and support us. This camp is really good. And by the way we did things last year, we're stepping it up even more this year. So tune in. If you're interested, please register. Registration ends soon.
Hey y'all, I'm Coach Quay.
And I'm Coach Brandon.
And we're inviting you to come join us at Auxiliary the Collegiate Way. You'll be getting trained by some of the best HBCU dancers in the SWAC. You'll be learning marches and struts, stance, and choreography. This is not your ordinary stand camp. You'll be learning some of the baddest field shows on the floor.
And this camp is not just for the dancers, it's also for our twirlers and our color guard. That's right, we have collegiate instructors coming specifically to train our twirlers and our color guards on the level it takes to be a collegiate twirler and a collegiate color guard on the field and in the stands.
Oh, and don't forget about the showcase.
That's right, the showcase. On June 7th, we're inviting you out to come support the campers as we put on a showcase. Last year's showcase was amazing, so imagine what this year's showcase will be. The camp dates are June 3rd through 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Camp registration per dancer is $150. However, if you are a team and you're going to be bringing 10 or more dancers, we have a special payment link for you. Hit us personally on the Passion in Performance contact. All right? Make sure you come out. Quay, let's get out of here. Hit him with the ocean beat. Oh, you ain't leaving me behind. I'm coming right after you, sis. I'm coming.
Baby Quay, I'm so proud of you.
Baby.
Look at you opening up the show by yourself. Baby, look, I feel like a proud hen. Y'all don't know how shy Quay is. So it takes a lot to get her to open up a show. Sorry, y'all, I'm moving around, so give me just a second. I'm be right with together. Look, the Lord, it was a tight call, but the Lord is working great things out. But God is doing a great work. He's doing a great work. Can I give my church today? Great work. Yes. What's going on, people? How y'all doing? Welcome to Auxiliary the Collegiate. Hey, look, wrong show. Straight up Auxiliary Podcast. What's going on? Baby Quay came up and hyped y'all up. Baby, y'all let Quay know in the comments how proud of y'all she is, because the girl don't like talking.
I do me.
She's not here for it. Not by herself.
I'm doing better.
But she did good, and I'm so proud of her. And look, she held on to God's unchanging hand while I was trying to get my life together in the backdrop.
Amen.
Okay, but we made it here. Quay, what is your state of the auxiliary?
Oh my goodness. I'm just excited to see who are behind the scenes of everything that puts it together for us, having us, giving us opportunities, training us, and where they come from, their backgrounds, and just them being driven and what drives their vision. I'm just excited to learn so much from them. I look up to these ladies so much. I've seen one of them grow up, and now she's just flourishing on by, and the other one has put me in positions to where I'm just grateful to be, a part. So I'm very excited. I'm ready.
It's the grateful to be a part for me. I don't know if y'all heard that, but it's definitely the grateful to be a part for me. Baby, look, I don't know quite, but that state of the auxiliary for me, I really feel like it's at this inflection point where we're really about to be on the verge of something great. I just really can tell that there is so much brewing in the air. Just things I hear in the backdrop, things I hear behind the scenes, things that I know that I can't say all the time. Man, look, there's something great brewing, and I'm so proud to be a part of the greatness that's about to take place for sure, because it is like, when I say they're coming with it, they are coming with it. Have you seen the level of talent that we have had to watch people display in these last couple of years? Like, we've heard some of the collegiate dancers on one of our previous episodes talk about how they don't know if they would have made it if they had to try it against some of these girls, because the level has been anteed up more and more with each particular day. So we know that it's really going to be we know that as these people are getting ready to do auditions, as people are saying they want to try out for these teams, you really got to be ready, because we don't know which way it's going to go. I mean, you could try out today and make a team, and literally try out tomorrow with a different group of people and not be on the team. Okay. So we don't know. What's up, Miss Forte? Baby, she said, God said, hey, Forte, baby. Yeah, baby, I know that's Dr. Evelyn Forte, baby, coming back to be a part of the conversation. It's so good to know they are in the comments, not as well as being on the show stage. Hey, Miss Geneva Marie. Hey, Sip, what's going on? Good evening to you, too. All right, y'all, look. We have such a good show lined up. Quay gave us our announcements. She gave us the benediction. She's the announcement lady. Y'all know the announcement lady when y'all go to church that sit up there and say, good evening, Baptist Church. Baby, look, I'll be here for Quay. Quay, you better come on and give us the church announcements. Okay, y'all, I'm in full-fledged. I'm sitting. I'm ready now. I'm good to go.
Yes.
Y'all, look, we got a good show lined up. Again, as you can see below us, this show is all about higher administration. And because we are going to be talking to those who have crossed those lines of being what we call higher administration, they are now working more so on the curriculum side, the administrative side. They're working on these other sides, not so much in the classroom or even teaching as much as they used to, but they're able to now give us some insight of what is fine arts, performance arts doing on this side of when it comes to the educational standpoint. And we want to get to know that. So when we talk about the state of the auxiliary, we're not only talking about the performance aspect. Okay, there are a lot of YouTube reviewers out there. You can get that from anywhere. But we are trying to truly educate us about everything we need to know from all aspects. And these last few shows that we have picked out has definitely been from the educational standpoint, so that we can continue to learn and grow and continue to understand performance art and fine arts at its peak, okay? And what can we do to make it even better and to continue to grow it in the way that I used to know it, when you could have these big teams of cheer teams and dance squads. And, we see it, but it depends on where you are. It's very easy to see the numbers can be high in some places and low in some places. One year maybe up or down, where we used to have these consistent teams of 50 and 100 when it was cheap, when it was dance, when it was color guard, twirlers had these big squads. You don't so much see that anymore, and I definitely would love to see us get back. So Quay, what are you hoping to get out of tonight's conversation?
I'm really ready to learn, honestly.
is definitely about to be our command because, baby, look, we're about to go into our first interview of the night. That's right. And our first, oh, wait. Girl, what's going on with passion and performance? We can't move on the show and you ain't tell us nothing about passion performance. What's going on?
Okay, so this upcoming month, May 25th, I will be having Feel Yourself Heels and Stand classes. Both classes will be held at Duncanville Field House. Heel classes from 3 to 5 p.m. and stands classes from 6 to 8 p.m. Stands class is free for anybody who just wants to come and vibe and dance. And heels classes for anyone who wants to just come and learn how to be feminine with themselves and love themselves, encourage themselves, learn how to feel yourself, okay? Heels class is $15. For more information, hit me up on my Instagram, passionate performance __. Also, I do have a stretch class on the 26th from 12:30 to 2. So tune into that. You can tune in via Zoom or in person. That will be held at Duncanville Fieldhouse as well, and it's free. I also have training packages where you get 3-hour sessions, 2-hour sessions, 3 sessions for 2 hours, and the package is $125. So if you're interested in training, want to dance in the future for collegiate team or any team, hit me up.
All right. So, Quay, look, when you say passion performance for anybody, how much of that anybody are you serious about? Can you just give me an age requirement? Because I think the people think that they have to be a certain age.
Anybody, meaning you can start from 5 and up.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to train to be a dancer, who loves the art of dance, hit me up. I'm welcome. I have energy for everybody. So
I'm here for the everybody. Look, y'all, we have our first guest ready in the background, ready to go. Y'all may know her as a lot of things. Y'all may know her as a high stepper. Y'all may know her as a TWU dance, a dance alumni. Y'all may know her as being spiritual.
Yeah.
Y'all may know her as being hope for tomorrow. Y'all, we have our first guest coming up. None other than the incredible. I put it in the wrong thing. Y'all, look, I was moving, y'all. I was moving. Now give me some grace. Hold on. Let me get this right. But we know her as the incomparable Hope Crockett. Okay, Miss Crockett is an amazing person. We have worked alongside of each other. We have come a long way, and I love to say that all the time because we truly have come a long way. And as I'm getting her, look, I'll get her picture up in a minute. I'm gonna get her on the stage, but I'll get her picture up here so y'all can see the beauty and the brains. Because the one it was gonna go in the backdrop, I needed to come in the forefront. So give me just a second. We can get this right. But while we do that, y'all give it up for Miss Hope Crockett.
Hey. Oh.
Hello. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Hey, everybody.
Yes.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed. Y'all took us to church earlier, and so I almost wanted to get up here and be like, honor to God, and but I'm happy to be here with you guys.
It's a must.
Happy for you to be here too. Like
we
I'm
are
actually
ready.
excited.
I'm so ready. I'm so ready to hear all the things you're going to share with us tonight. Quay, lead us in.
All right. So I just want to know, tell people about yourself and why you are where you are.
Okay, let's take it all the way back, I suppose. Yeah. So started dancing at 3. For fun, something that girls do. It's a thing that girls do. Specifically started in studio, and then really I give all my credit to church. I attended Carver Heights Baptist Church. That's my home church. In Dallas,
you a Carver Heights girl?
Carver Heights Baptist Church.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know your background.
Did you see that? Did you feel that?
And so that's my background as a child, and I always give credit to being a liturgical dancer because ministry is where I found my performance side. So I think before I even became a trained dancer, I was a performer already. Mm-hmm. Of course, when my mother realized that I really truly enjoyed dance, and possibly had a little talent there. She decided to invest in that, and so I went to studio. I trained multiple days a week, many hours a week. That was literally my life. Training, and then I became a competitive dancer. I went to Station School of Dance in Cedar Hill, Texas, then Ultimate Dance in Duncanville, Texas. Trained at Dallas Black Dance Theater through their summer enrichment program faithfully, and then just started dancing in high school. I attended a collegiate program. They did not have dance, y'all, and I wasn't having it. My mom was like, this is too much for you. You cannot handle being a studio dancer. And because y'all, we had 20-page research papers in 9th grade. Y'all, it was no joke. And so she was like, you can't handle it. I'm like, you know what? Okay. So I put together a petition and took it to my principal, and I'm like, I got everybody to sign it. We need dance here, okay? Because we were the first class at Cedar Hill Collegiate High School. I said, we need dance here. So she went and she found us a dance teacher. The principal found us a dance teacher. And so dancing at school, started that program technically, and was captain for 3 years of that program. Through there, competed as well. That's when I learned that I loved choreography. I was that child that was like in the living room.
Yeah.
Always like had the music on blasting. Yeah. Like, can you sit down? Can you stop? Can you relax?
Couches and everything.
Learned that I love choreographing, y'all. And so that was my thing. So the very first piece I remember choreographing on people was my dance team, and my director realized how good I was, and she was like, I'm gonna use you. And I was like, okay, I love dance, so whatever you want me to do. And so my very first competitive choreography that I ever did was on Skyline High School. I went there. Shannon was the teacher, and she didn't even know how old I was. I don't think she knew I was a high school student, but she was looking at me like, who is this girl? And I went up there and I choreographed their dance, and they won first place. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of good. I was like maybe 16 years old.
Yes.
And like literally just, that was my thing. And it started off with hip hop. Hip hop was my, that genre. I went to studio with, where I was probably like the only Black girl there, a couple others. And so they were like, oh, hip hop. And then I realized like, no, I'm good in all of this. Right. And so I started choreographing contemporary, literally anything. So fast forward, love dance. Dance is life. Went to Texas Women's University for dance as an undergrad student. And I realized that I loved teaching. Going back a little bit, started teaching through Big Thought. That's how I first started teaching in schools. As a high school student, they did not know how old I was because I was contracted out. And so I was sitting on teams with adults and like leading teams, and they had no idea that I was a high school student. So that was fun and funny. And I remember just being like, Mama, I don't think they know how old I am, because they asking me questions like I'm their leader. And I'm like, but we did it. We made it through. And so my leadership skills clearly showed as a child. I was that child that was always in trouble for talking too much, and always had something to say. And so shout out to those kids and those of you like me, because I guarantee we are running the world right now. And so went off to college, studied dance, decided to go into teaching because that was my God-given gift. That's the talent that God gave to me. And quickly learned that dance was my ministry. Beyond performance, it was my job to minister to these children and show them God, show them Christ through the beautiful art of dance. And so dance is not just movement to me. Dance is the connection to the Father for me. And so went on to be the drill team director at Wilmer Hutchins High School for 8 years. While there, got my graduate degree at Texas Women's University. Had 2 kids, y'all. Oh, Jesus. Had two children. So not only am I a dancer, I'm first and foremost a human being. Then I am a woman, a Black woman, a mother, a teacher, a mentor, a leader. And I really, really love dance. And so all those skills have come together. And this year I took a leap of faith, literally. God directed my path and told me what to do and when to do it. And I moved and I was obedient. And so here I am. Now I am the predecessor to, I'm coming after Devondria, who I admire, love, came to really get to know these last about 2 years, really. And so I'm glad that she was obedient to the Lord and we walked through this process together. And so now I am finishing out her vision and seeing God's vision through Dallas ISD's dance program. So that's where I am.
Oh, Crockett touched my heart when you said ministry to the kids. Like I felt that because I feel that. It makes sense. Makes so much sense.
It's more than dance for sure.
I love the fact that she said she's human first.
Yeah.
Before she's anything else. And that's a statement I used to say a lot. And I don't think people realize that sometimes they only see us in the light that they see us in. And they don't see that we are human first. See, look, the kids are kidding right now, but they don't realize we're human first. And sometimes they get so used to your position, your title, your role that they forget, hey, I'm human first. You know, you walk in and they'd be like, hey, I need you, da, 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 da. And it's like, whoa. Yeah. Even as a teacher today, I teach students, hey, don't ask me nothing until you greet me. Mister, did you say hi to me? Did you ask me, was I okay? Did you say, Mister, are you feeling well today? Is it good today? Good. We got to talk about understanding the human part of me first before you understand anything else about me. Because I can't do anything else for you until you say, hello, Mister, how are you today? We got to have that exchange first. Then we can talk. And I have to do that to humans too. Sometimes we have to literally tell the humans the same thing. Like, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't start off on the right foot today. So I love that.
And that's okay. You know, and as a teacher, that was one of my favorite things. Like, you know, it's so easy to see a teacher, an educator, just someone older than you and just have so much you idolize them and we know that we shouldn't, but my thing was always like, hey y'all, I'm human, and I would come to them as humanly as possible because we all are struggling. We are all going through different things. And I always make that very clear with my kids and my parents. Because that's one of the first things I tell my parents when we have our parent meetings. I'm human first. And so I'm not going to ever be perfect. And so you won't either, but we're all going to get through this together with compassion and as you stated earlier, grace.
Mm-hmm.
Quay, you have any questions?
Yes. So I just want to know, like, what is it for you that drives you for the kids?
Remembering that I was a kid. Remembering that I was one of those students who I was difficult. I was always in trouble. I was always distracted in other things and everything else except for academics. And truthfully, if you had told me in high school that I was going to be a teacher, if I was going to venture out into administration, I would have laughed at you because there's no way. And so just remembering who I was, and my goal is to always like, I forget who I was talking to. I think it was Lemuel. He's at Hutch right now. I was talking to him the other day and he was talking about, he has this beautiful vision, y'all. So I hope y'all get to talk to him, but a beautiful vision because we always forget about our bottom children, right? We're always focused on the top. And I was a bottom child. Even though I was very smart, easily could pass whatever, I didn't care enough and I didn't give much effort to education because it was easy for me. But all I cared about was dance. And dance is what kept me invested in school in the first place. And so understanding that everyone wants to be captured, everyone wants to be pulled in, everyone wants to be held by the hand at some point or just guided. We all need guidance. And so what helps me and drives me for these kids is just remembering who I used to be and where I am now, because nothing gives me more joy than being able to talk to my kids that graduated from the past and like see where they are now, even if they're not where they expect to be, where they want to be. I'm where I am and I'm not where I expect to be. We're always hard on ourselves.
Right.
And so that gives me joy just to pour into them and let them know that life, you're still alive. So there are so many options and so many things. And if I do that through dance, amazing. That's beautiful. But also being able to I've touched so many children mentally that were not dancers. That kids that I just saw in testing rooms or whatever. It's our job to plant seeds and to give people hope.
That was cute. But I like that. I don't know. You speak with so much passion. So
the name plug for me. Look, Dr. Forte came on and said, "I love this spiritual powerhouse." So look, you're already, and you ain't even been on but a few minutes, and you're already. See, it's already exuding itself, y'all. So, Quay, did you have another question?
No, go ahead.
So, Crockett, Crockpot, as I love to call you. So,
always cooking something up, though. Okay, that's real.
Something up, right? Okay. She always got some cooking in the back. But so, you said dance is your ministry, and I know Quay kind of touched on this, and that you said you were kind of, I guess, what they would call, quote unquote, the bottom kid, which I would have never thought that. But you said you were the bottom kid, that you stayed in trouble, that dance was what drew you to school. And so when you come across those kids, or if you've come across those kids in your time frame, how is it that you choose to deal with them? Because I don't think everybody has a heart, passion, or calling to deal with them. It's easy, like you said, to take those at the top. But when you have those kids that have those struggles, and maybe your program is a way to reach them in some form. You won't fix everything, but you can fix some things or control it. How did you do it? And two, what advice would you give for those who come across those kids who are scared to take a risk on them?
That's a really good question, because I think this is some things for me come very naturally. And so like one of my mentors was talking to me yesterday, and she's like, some things you don't have to think about because it comes natural to you, but it's not natural for everybody. And so it got me thinking about like my processes, because processes are a big thing right now. We're always looking at the end result, but never looking at how a person got here, right? And so one of the biggest things that I will say is I hold the same expectation for every single being that I come across, right? Especially if you're coming into my classroom, I expect greatness. This is what I want. This is what it is. I'm going to teach you as a coach, as a director, as a teacher. It's my job to show you how to get there, so that everyone can be on the same level. But essentially, I treat everyone or have the same expectations for everyone. And that seems so simple, but when a child that is treated lesser than, or you see them and like, oh, that's a problem child, when you hold them to the same standard as anybody else, they see that they're equal. They see that they are like, someone has expectations for me, because most likely if they're that bottom child, I don't even like saying that, but if they're the child that doesn't get the positive recognition all the time, they don't get expectations. We automatically label them and, oh, that's the problem. So I'm not even gonna give them the energy. But in my classroom on the first day, we talking about the syllabus, what our expectations are. I even have them write out their rules, like what's going to make a successful classroom. Let's talk about that, and they'll come out with the things that they expect out of themselves. We make a contract and let's go. But on the flip side, what's going to make a good teacher? What do you expect from me? And so I show them automatically, I got expectations and you have expectations. I'm gonna hold you accountable and you hold me accountable. So if you say that you don't want me to yell or which is hard because you know how to get out of it is. But if you say you don't want me to talk negatively to you, you hold me to that in a moment. And my kids know, if I'm doing that, call me out, because guess what? Miss Crockett gonna call you out on what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that really, really helps our kids know that they are equal. They're on the same playing field as everybody else. And I can't tell you how many times a teacher has come in with an IEP or a 504 contract or paperwork and check on a child. And I'm like, oh, this child is perfect. Really? They gives everybody a problem. I said, really? I wouldn't even realize that. Because when they step into my room.
Yeah.
And then I'm that teacher that, if I see you in the hallway and what you doing? You embarrassing me? Mm-hmm. Oh no, you got what we doing? So yeah, that's my answer.
Awesome. Quay, any follow-up questions before we let Crockett take a quick break before we start and bring up our next interview?
Yes. I just want to know, so what style do you prefer most and why?
Okay.
I know you love them all, but
I love them all. So performance-wise, the easy answer has to be contemporary. Has to be. Okay. I love choreographing contemporary. I love dancing it. So that's my favorite, but it's all like I want to do everything. I want to learn everything. I want to know how to do everything because I'm a learner first. And so throw me jazz, throw me anything. I love to create and I love to perform. Those are my things. And so literally anything. But contemporary would be the easy answer.
I love it.
Look, if y'all can't tell, tag your people, tag your coaches, tag your students, whoever you need to tag your collegiate dancers. Let them know we're having a higher administration talk tonight. As you can tell, we're already off to a good path, and we ain't even got into the real questions yet. We're just getting background right now so that you know the caliber of people that we bring up here. Y'all get your questions ready because y'all know we're going to have a good Q&A tonight. Again, we're going to hold Miss Crockett down for just a second, and we're going to bring up our second guest, but get your questions ready because there is a wealth of knowledge sitting in the room tonight, and we want you to definitely take advantage of the knowledge that you're going to come across. All right, Miss Crockett, thank you. We're going to bring you back up momentarily, take a quick break, and we're going to get ready for our second guest. Thank you. Y'all, look, we got her up. I got her pictures up. Look.
Yeah, show them that picture, baby. Show them.
Give me some grace. First off, let's get to the business side. Let's get into the business of it all. It's giving, yes, I'm here.
Yes. ...
You can fill in the rest. It's just giving, yes, I'm here. And sometimes that's all you need to know is, yes, I'm here and I have a seat at the table. But then you get into this.
Okay.
And I know what I'm doing. Okay. And that is what we want right here. We want to know, and I know what I'm doing. So again, she's coming in. She's not just an educator. She's not just someone who's passionate, but she has someone who went and put in the ground, the back work behind her craft. And we love that she went to feel her craft. We have a comment here from Ann Perry, and it says, great share. Educators holding every child with expectations, and those students holding their educator to expectations. To me, it's how we get to build relationships with our students and they with us. Thank you, Ann Perry. That comment is an amazing comment. And yes, look at the wealth that she's giving. See, already we get into the things.
Yeah.
All right.
Crockett always gives you inspiration. Talking to
she-
her makes you feel good. And
It
it puts
is.
it puts your mind in like go. Like, yeah, I'm capable of doing what I believe I can do. So
Yes.
it's always
And
nice.
she's a creative, and our
Creative.
creatives just really move different. And I can say from past that I didn't always understand Crockett. I knew she was creative. I didn't always understand her. But when we got a chance to truly connect and make the connection that we made, I totally understand the way she thinks. And I understand the path that she charts. And it's just always this level of, okay, we've done this. Now I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. It's never I can be okay with where I'm at. I cannot stay here. I have to find the next up. And I understand that because I'm a goal-driven person. So someone who is driven by goals, watching someone else drive themselves to something else, I totally get it. And I think if anybody doesn't understand her level of hard, her level of push, her level of I'm going to stay on top of you until you achieve, it's because they don't understand driven. They don't understand that driving force. And that makes a difference in all the coaching in the world. Because whether she had the background, the knowledge, the driving force pushes someone in itself. Then you add all the other things on top. All right. So we have our next guest, y'all, another powerful lady, y'all. And do y'all see all the melanin we brought in the room tonight? Not that we're against any non-melanated people, but do y'all see all the melanin we brought in the room tonight? And they're women. Y'all notice we keep showing all the strong women and men, but all the strong women that are out there in the field of auxiliary. And we want to continue to show you that. Our next guest, first off, let's just throw the picture out there. Baby,
it's the whole.
Is it not giving what it was supposed to have gave?
The point.
I mean, the haircut, the eye, the hand placement, the statues that she's against, the body posture. It is giving. I am here. I am living art. Look at me, okay? And I love it. You better eat them up in the living art. But she is also a professional, and we love to call her Miss Devondria Douglas. We do have a nickname, but we won't say that. But we call her Miss Devondria Douglas. Y'all give it up in the comments and in your houses and spaces for Miss Devondria Douglas.
Hey, y'all. How are y'all?
We're good. How are you?
Oh, just making it. Just surviving these good old streets. Man, I'm so happy. I'm happy to be here.
I'm so happy that you're here with us. I'm happy that you're here with us and to share more. But before we get into your background and all the things, right there in your little box to your left, also on your chest, tell us a little bit about that, because we have been giving some information out, and I don't think the people realize that you are part of a great movement. Give us some of that information.
So I am co-founder. First of all, hey y'all, give it up to your lovely host. I've been a faithful follower. But DG Fine Arts is a 501c3 nonprofit that services Dallas. I might get in trouble for saying this, but we also service Houston now. We've expanded. And we provide educational resources that really focus on preserving African American fine arts in any shape and form. So our genres that we have created, whether it's jazz, whether it's show style, we work on creating resources that help preserve that history and legacy and pass that on. And we also we are starting to invest in local fine arts programs in Dallas now, also in Houston, just to be a financial support really to our fine arts programs across the DFW Metroplex, especially as a Dallas kid. Fine arts can be very, very expensive, and we don't ever want that opportunity to be taken away from a child. So that is what our nonprofit is servicing now in this current time.
Amazing.
Okay. Well, you want to go ahead and, get into your background? Tell them where you come from.
Yes. So I am Dallas born and raised. Triple D, Oak Cliff, never forget it. I grew up.
That's our hood.
Okay.
Believe it. Okay. But I grew up, ironically though, in East Dallas. I grew up at John F. Kennedy Learning Center before it became an all-boys school. Ironically, a lot of people don't know, I grew up in fine arts growing up being trained as a singer. So I went to Griner. I know, right? I went to Griner Exploratory Arts Academy for choir. Realized that choir really wasn't for me. Did not have the best experience. So I went on to Tag Magnet High School at Townview Magnet Center. For all of you who know Tag, wasn't that many of us in that top corner. So I end up dancing for my homeschool, which is my mother's alma mater, which is my mother's team. I end up dancing for David W. Carter Calicos. Miss Johnson and Miss Knighton were both of my sponsors. Also, a lot of people don't know is I was the Calico mascot second, third, and fourth grade year. Miss Knighton will probably come on here and correct me later on in life, but I've always been a Carter Cowboy in my heart. Then I went on, explored a few colleges, found out they weren't for me either. Finished from Texas Women's University. And this is where I always have to give kudos to God and my husband, because if it were not for those two people, I don't think I would have had the courage to pursue dance as a major. I grew up in church, grew up on praise dance and liturgical, but more so, we grew up that growing up a performer, you'd be a starving artist. So I didn't understand a lot of the options that were out there for me as, an arts major until I got to TWU. And I think that those 3 years really changed my life and really how I see fine arts. And I think that's what got me interested in the business of dance. And that's what I always tell people, like, you're never going to find a video of me dancing. And if you do, I will politely send you a message and be like, because for me, I always say going to class, dance-wise, that is my personal time with God. Like, it's never during a performance time or piece. It is literally going to class. I'm not going to get a job. I'm not going to be noticed, but I'm going because my body needs it. I need to be reconnected to my principles, to my foundations. It's something that really does ground me. But through all of that, the business of dance, I think, is where I am truly invested. Even in arts education now, I'm very much like, we're going to pay our artists. We're going to make sure our teachers are paid, they're compensated, that they get the resources they are. People who know me, they know I'm an advocate for fine arts, even though I'm moving over towards CTE electives, but fine arts is my home and my baby. People in Houston are very tired of me bringing up fine arts in my new role, but I am always going to root for us because my background is in rooms and spaces we are not in a lot of the time. And so one thing I would say about going to TWU is, like, they breed dance educators. Like, if you're going to TWU and you are expecting to be this grand performer, that's not the space for you. Like, we breed dance educators so that you can create what I always say is an art citizen, is a dance citizen. Like, we can breed all of these performers, but it don't matter if nobody's paying for a ticket to go see the show.
Right.
And so TWU kind of helps you put that in that mind frame. And that is kind of where I think I really got into learning. Being on the stage is great, but you're also one of the least paid people in the room. When you start moving up into the higher realms, is performers, they not come a dime a dozen, but they're not, as we move up in higher admin, you have to learn all of these other spaces. And I think that is kind of where my interest started to peak.
Okay, Devondria.
Like, there is so much to unpack there. Like, I don't even know where I want to start. Like, they are coming on with the they are coming on heavy. So I think I have a question. Nicole, I'm gonna skip you this time. So forgive me. So Devondria. Okay, help me to understand. First, you talked about, there's so many things I had in my head, and like, I'm trying to hit them all, but I'm gonna ask my first question. The business of dance. Please help me to understand one, the business of dance, and not so much me, but our audience. Two, help us to understand people that look like us not being in the rooms. You talked about those two things, and those are two things I wanted to hit on. So one, what is the business of dance? Two, why are people not like us in the room?
Yeah, so one, when I talk about the business of dance, I talk about everything the audience doesn't see. And I'm a scaffolded back. I'll start with being a coach, right? That is a business within itself. What you guys don't see is that as a coach, yes, I'm a counselor and I'm a teacher, but I'm also a choreographer. And if you are like myself, so I grew up show style, but I coached precision high kick, like because of my circumstances. They bring in choreographers. When we talk about, the other side of drill team, you don't see a lot of them doing the choreographing. So when I have to pay a choreographer, that's what I mean. I talk about the business of dance, even down to ordering costumes. When you're dealing with the financial pieces, everybody wants their child to look pretty, but pretty comes with money. Like that's not a cheap endeavor. And what people don't see is the hard work coaches are putting in. I'm glittering shoes, I'm putting on rhinestones, I'm glittering just to make sure your kids are not wearing the same thing 3 weeks in a row. That part of making sure all of that runs smooth. And on a higher level for arts administration, all of the programs that get into our schools, all of the partnerships and community resources that are poured into our neighborhoods. That is the business of dance and what those partnerships and funding sources and stuff look like, knowing how grants work, knowing what line code to pull it from. That's the business of dance. When I talk about not being in a room, I have to start back just from my upbringing. If you know Tag Magnet High School, it's not too many of, us in the room.
Not at all.
Them 3 hallways don't have too many of us. And even now, for context for the audience, it was 55 people in my graduating class and only 9 of us were Black. So you can see where our headspace was. For me to have to go to Carter every day, get on the bus, go to Carter every day and go to practice and see the difference in resources that Tag would get, or see the difference in support the teachers would get. Like I grew up seeing that. And more or less, I didn't really grow up in Black spaces. So my church home was my Black experience for me. Like I went to a family church. I grew up there. Like people don't know, I've known Kalissa since we was praise dancing together at church conventions together. Like that is just where I grew up, and my mom kept me rooted in that. But my educational experiences, I have always been the youngest, the Blackest, sometimes the loudest in the room.
That just happens.
It just happens. But when necessary, and and I think TWU really taught me in the dance space, they have no idea what's happening on this side of the world. I mean, no clue what's happening. And I'll be honest, I got my good taste of it my 1 year dancing with D-Mob. I mean, I think that was the most eye-opening situation for me because I didn't grow up studio. I grew up like getting community dance. So I went to Diva Dance Camp with Miss Paul. Like when y'all were talking about living legends, like I lived Miss Wyatt's era with Purple Flash. I lived Miss Forte. Like we were all at camps together, just getting it while we could. And one thing I will always appreciate about Diva Camp is she doesn't realize how much she exposed so many young African American dancers to just more than what we would have ever had access to. And then I will always say I was just blessed at Carter, where we went to camp with Miss Paul, but then we also went to ADTS camp. So 1 minute we was getting down, the next minute you see us high kicking. And that was just our life. And that was kind of both sides of it. And not having both of those versions of those stories in rooms when money decisions are being made, that is why I kind of I stay in dance. And my mission now is to make sure that the young dancers coming up, you know the business just of dance. Like, you know how to get into those rooms, even if myself and Crockett are not in them. You know what language to use, you know what posture to carry, you know how your digital resume should look like. That's kind of my mission now. And when we even talking about the business of dance and being in those rooms you're not in, learning all of that, though, we're just not always given those chances. And so making sure we African American Latino dancers know that is gonna, I think it'll change the game for sure, especially in this current state of auxiliary.
I definitely agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Everything you said about the diva dance and everything, it kind of brought back memories. You know, that's where I met you. So to see that where you came from and to see where you are now, it's a beautiful thing. And
we were at Diva together?
Yes, we were at Diva together. But I was a baby. Like, you were like graduating. I was a baby. So
not too much on the age. So
first off, I wasn't saying it like that. I was saying it to say I used to look at you at camp and I used to be admired by you because you were very driven. I remember we were at boot camp and they were going down a list of skills and techniques and nobody else knew them. You know, we're all new to this. But you, every time you knew, they say, can someone demonstrate it? Pinky would get up, Devondria would get up, and she would get up, she'd demonstrate the technique. And I was like, okay, if she can do all of this, I can learn this stuff too. So this very like nostalgic when you talk about it.
Do you know what's so crazy about that? If anybody asks me to describe myself as a dancer, I tell people like I am not the greatest technician. Like in the spaces I am, baby, I hide from it. I'm like, no, this is not for me. So to hear that, I'm like, wow, because I do not describe myself at all as a technician. Like I am a storyteller. That is crazy. That is crazy.
Quick interjection, and then Quay Asterisk definitely give you a question. She mentioned DMOB, and I always want to make sure our listeners know what things are. Sometimes we use acronyms and things like that. So for those who are not in the alumni or marching band, show style band world, DMOB was one of the first mass bands that Dallas has that participate in like the summer, when summer battles were still on the newer edges. It was like maybe 4 or 5 out there. So DMOB stands for Dallas Metroplex Alumni Band. That band has changed names, variations, and leaderships throughout its time. I think currently the new variation of that potentially could be called the Legion Band or Dallas Legion. That would be kind of your alumni band version of that, and then you may have off other branch offs, but that's kind of what we have now. It's changed names over the years, but it was definitely in the beginning stages of that alumni band era, which we are entering in, so it's going to be a lot to talk about real soon. Go ahead, Quay, with your question.
So you did, speaking of DMOB, you talked about your experience. Like, what was that like? I would like to know.
So during that time, okay, so I graduated 2012 and I marched for DMOB 2014. So this is when I was personally, I would say I was going through kind of like where I fit in the dance world, so to speak. DMOB, for those of you who don't know, it's our community all-star band, basically. Just where we all get together for the love of band and we come together and we just take it out. Yeah. DMOB for me, honestly, was the experience I needed to articulate the experience in the rooms. Like in hindsight, now that I think about it, and I had Fee's first year in Dallas. So I had Fee with Alicia, and it was yeah, baby. I had Fee with Alicia, and it was one more that I can't think of. But hardest summer of my life. I'm not gonna say that, and I don't say that lightly, because that is when I really learned that there's a technique to this. Yeah. So when I go and take ballet class and I take modern class, and y'all think it's cute to start mixing stuff, Nah, baby, like knees over toes is the same in a buck as it is in a plie. And do you really have the skill?
Right.
Do you have, and where I agree with my mentor 100%, Terrence, in this, is they don't have the energy that we have, and I think if we leaned more into our superpowers as dancers culturally, it'll be a whole different world, especially because I coached a Latino team. And giving them the same moves, but not having the power to match it makes a difference. And I think D-Mob gave me that experience to be like, oh, girl, this is a little hard. Not even a little hard, but because like I always had an appreciation for it. But like you can ask my husband. There were days I was like, hey, I'm not going back. Like my legs hurt. Like this is
no, seriously.
And I had with Alicia. When I say we were running, and I had young, like I had feet, like
you had young feet.
Until you're outside running with me, you don't know the struggle. Like that's why
Alicia was a beast.
Okay, baby. You want to talk about it? And I know I didn't even have her in like collegiate days, but I had you for All-Star. I can only imagine that training. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it made me, I advocate very differently. Like people know if you come into Devondria, we can start talking about dance and cultural dance. Oh, you better come with it. And you better have evidence because I'm ready. Like if you can't hit the step with some of the best of them, with the Essences, with the Kyries, with the Brienne, like if you can't hit the step with them, I don't want to hear it. Like you're not there. You think you're there, but you're not really there with this.
Okay. I almost called you your nickname.
Y'all can call me my nickname. Y'all are family. That's fine.
So there's a question that came up from Dr. Evelyn Forte Jones, and she said, so Devondria, what do you think about a coach juggling business and management of 6 schools for dance and another program? Just wanted to know your opinion. Have you encountered a coach with so much responsibility? And then she followed up with, I am TMC proud. Love you.
Other than you, no one, I don't think I know anyone who's had to juggle that. And I'm going to take it again from a business perspective. What a lot of people don't know is when you're a coach dealing with 6 schools, you're dealing with 6 different principals, 6 different personalities. And Dr. Forte Jones, she lived a range of town views. So she lived them coming together. She lived us having an executive board, and she lived through us not having an executive board. And I don't think people give enough credit to the human management part of what we do in arts administration. And me and Hope talk about this all the time, but managing the people of it and just basic personalities. And I can say this, I'm gonna take it a step further. Being a woman and navigating male personalities is a whole different level because, band director languages and egos is a whole different type of regular personality when you're dealing with other people. And so I have not known anybody who's had to deal with it, but I've known people who have tried and it did, always have that same measure of excellence that came with Miss Forte and understanding that. But I also know that trying to manage that in a business on the side, you had to have had strong systems. And one thing I loved about, Townview is they had a strong student leadership system. Like I don't remember, I'm finna age myself and I'm finna tell a story I said I'd never tell again, but I love y'all, so I'm gonna tell y'all. I tried out for auxiliary. I don't know. So when we was wearing all white, not that white and black, like all white at Townview. For those who know. So I tried out for auxiliary. I made it. The day of auditions, report cards came out. And I got a C, and my mama pulled me. Like I could no longer march on that team. And I remember I went to Miss Forte crying about it. And her expectation of me, she was like, no, your mother said that you can't do it. You shouldn't have. Like that that was the level. That level of expectation and systems, you have to be like tight top to bottom to run 6 schools and a business and run it as seamlessly as Townview did. I don't know too many people who can do that. And honestly, I don't know too many coaches who've done it successfully and since she's been around.
Baby, it's the personalities for me, because the one be enough.
Okay.
The one be enough. And now you dealing with 6 of them? And they all move, think, walk, talk, and breathe differently.
On top of dealing with a full team of girls and all of those personalities coming to work every day. I said, oh,
and then
this is
sprinkling the parents. That's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. Right, and they parents.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, it's a behind the stage thing. so Quay, any other questions for Devondria, baby? Because she came up here. Look, these ladies is unloading tonight. They like a.
I'm ready to get into the panel. Let's get to it.
Okay. Well, Devondria, we're gonna drop you real quick so you can take a quick break, and we're gonna show our audience some clips that we, at least a clip or two that we have, and then we're gonna bring out you and Hope Crockett back up. And we're going to get some things, all the things, okay? So y'all give it up again for Devondria Douglas as she's going to take a quick second break, and then we're going to get into the things, baby. We are getting right on through this tonight. I hope that y'all really, really like the comments up and show these high-level educators, these higher administration and representatives, the love that they deserve, and definitely come with the knowledge. She says, I've never had anyone answer that question. Perfect. That's because they never could. Okay? They never could, because everybody don't understand the dynamic, and those who know. Okay. So with that being said, we have a clip here that I am ready to give, and this is some behind the stage. I think it's behind the stage. Clips that was provided. This one was provided by Miss Crockett. And again, she gave us quite a few. We're going to just show a couple of the clips. We won't get through all of this one because it is a little lengthy, but we still want to give some. You said you what?
I feel rich. Like, I feel good.
Why you feel rich? What? Oh, you inspired already?
Yes.
Okay. What got you inspired?
Just the fact that both of them, from where they come from to where they are now, like I said, seeing one grow up, be on my eyes, it's beautiful to me, and it just motivates me. I'm motivated. I'm very motivated. I know what else to say.
Because this too could be you one day.
Could be.
I'm just saying, Wondering Minds wants to know, how much longer must we wait?
Patience.
All right, y'all. We're going to get on this clip real quick and see. Me and Quay can banter about this all day long. Here we go. Here's our clip. We're going to start with this one here and give you a little taste of this. Of course, right here in the screen with the earphones on her ear is Miss Crockett, and I believe this is going to be her directing some things from a show that I previously saw recently saw not too long ago. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and let's get it going.
Oh. Yes, Crockett.
Singing?
I said yes, Crockett.
Oh, I thought you said start over. Girl. My bad, y'all. Forgive me. All right. So what you just witnessed in that video clip was her directing a production show that she had put together. And I believe that was from January, if I'm not January, February.
I believe it was January.
Top of the season. But I was able to go and attend that piece, and it was good. Okay, so that just showing you some of the business, some of the background where she's giving direction, she's giving instruction. She's having to actually do all of this stage lighting and performance because there was a live crowd that came out. I wanted to show one more clip, and then we're going to bring them back up. A panel interview. I just wanted to make sure they had a chance to take a quick break. So that would have shown her giving more of the studio dance side, more of the modern, the contemporary, all those styles that we get from the studio. But through her time learning, just like Devondria said, and I think Crockett touched on this, they had to learn the show band style as well, or the majorette style. And so there they did. And so this video clip is going to give you some of the range that she was able to do and grow, because again, as she said, she's not just always teaching, but she also had to understand the expectations. So she had to meet those bars of what they expected of her, and meet them she did. Okay, so I want to give you this clip real quick. I thought I had it queued up, and I guess I did not, but here is a clip. As soon as just a second. I'm sorry, y'all, I was trying to get it queued. Forgive me.
That's okay. We coming. We wait. We patient.
It's been a day today. All right, but we're here. And I'm just about ready. Stop laughing at me. All right, here we go. All right, and then we're gonna start our panel interview. I'm hoping this is gonna come clear. I think it should clear up in a second. If not, then we'll try another one because I have to. All right, here we go. Oh, I didn't put it on the screen. My bad. See, look, messing up. All right, we're gonna try this and see. Hopefully, it's gonna clear out in just a second. I'm thinking it will.
No. It's clear enough.
It is. It's trying to.
Yeah.
No, but it's still.
It's still foggy.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We can see.
Okay, you won't see faces, but you can see some motions.
I was about to get mad at you for putting the S on there, but you were just talking literally.
You said what?
I said I was about to get mad at you for putting the S on there, but you were just talking literally, so I couldn't.
I feel like you can't see it the way I need to see it.
You can't see it. Okay. Come on.
Over on Instagram, I am Destiny Lay or Lee says, I've been looking into a camp, but I can't find anything online. Is Diva Camp still operating?
Baby, we got a camp for you.
Mm-hmm. We have a camp.
Come on, Lex. Ooh.
Uh-oh, who was I talking in the background? I thought that was you playing.
Y'all better connect. Turn me up. Yes. Oh, you too. Don't do that. Yes. Come on, ladies. I love this uniform.
But come on, Ariels at the end. Yes.
Thought I was at the show. Come on, run off. Oh.
All right, y'all. So that gives you some of the caliber of what they're able to do. And I'm sorry, the video quality, that's probably just from the moving the video files around, but we're going to get it right. All right. So we're going to go ahead and bring them back up. We got a great panel discussion set up for you tonight. And of course, again, if you have questions, please add your questions. And we may even bring some people on, just depends on how the night goes. But we're going to welcome back Hope Crockett to the stage. And we're going to welcome back Devondria Douglas to the stage. All right, let me put them back in the order they was in. There we go. All right, there. Now, We're going to go ahead and get started, ladies. Thank you again for coming on tonight. Y'all have already dropped so many gems just in the first few minutes you spoke. And we definitely want to continue to add to that tonight. Now, to address I Am Destiny over there, Diva Dance Camp is not on continuing operation as of today. But there's no camp exactly like Diva Dance Camp. However, we do have a camp called Auxiliary the Collegiate Way that will be happening June 3rd through the 7th that you can check out. It is more focused on the show band style / HBCU style, if that is the style you're looking for. But we also have Ultimate Dance Camp that we can refer you to that'll be coming back through the summer, which somebody's going to give us some more information about that tonight. But Ultimate Dance Camp, that will go over your modern, your ballet, your jazz, and contemporary. So again, this is the Auxiliary Collegiate Way flyer and the information there. And then we'll get some information about Ultimate Dance Camp before we leave so that you can get that. So depending on what type of style or both that you're looking for, you can find the camp that services your needs. Thank you for being patient over there on the Instagram. All right, y'all, we are back and we have our great panelists with us. And y'all, look, I know they're going to give us as much as they can. Now, I do have to respect the fact that they do still work for a school district. So there's just some things we cannot technically say, ask, or do because, look, we ain't trying to get nobody's check gone. We got people to feed. Okay, one has kids and the other has a family. Both of them have families. We got families to feed, and we can't stop our check. Okay, it's not a Trump check, but we can't stop our check. All right, that was a Nene line. For those who didn't know, that was a Nene Leaks line. Okay, don't be reading it. All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started with our first question of the night, and we're going to kind of ease into some things. So we're going to start off with a simple statement, and I know that both of these are great panelists to discuss this topic with us. What is the importance of proper skills training? I already know who burning to say something. Okay,
look, you got it, Hope. You got it, Hope.
Crockett wants to go first. Her face.
The most important answer is safety. When you understand your body, how it works, the placement, alignment, where your body should be in the space and how it should move through different movement, it creates a safe environment for you and others that you're dancing with. Me and Brandon talked about this a couple of weeks ago, but I'm very passionate about the safety of the children that we're teaching or ministering to. It doesn't make sense to me that children at 10 years old have knee braces and hip problems and ankle braces. That makes absolutely no sense. Because as trained dancers and trained coaches, you should understand and be teaching proper skills, proper body alignment. I'm 30 years old and I've never injured myself. Glory to the Lord, but never injured myself because I trained and because I understand the correct way to do things. And, accidents happen. That's a thing. But to be walking with a limp, having to have a knee brace on, having to have an ankle brace, that is absurd. And so the simple answer is safety. And then we can get into, like, of course, when you get into the professional world, when you are auditioning as Brandon stated earlier, these teams are, they come in for everybody. It's not an easy process for a lot of dancers, but when you get into those spaces, you can dance and move with confidence, knowing you know what it is, right? What the technique is, what the skill is. When they ask you to demonstrate something, and in most cases, especially in the professional world, they're not going to show you what they want demonstrated. They're just going to say, do X, Y, Z. And you should be able to hear those words and do those words and know exactly what they're talking about. I was in an audition the other day and they said, do a penché, something with a penché, and the dancer did something else. And they said penché. Another one that was do a tour jeté. they didn't know what that was. And so, no, you don't have to be ballet trained. And I'm very passionate about that as well. It doesn't have to start with ballet at all, but you should know the placement of your body and vocabulary. So,
Devondria.
Echoing everything Hope said, but also I think it's an appreciation too, especially when it is taught correctly. You have a different insight on what it takes to accomplish that. First of all, safety first and foremost, but I think the second part of that is an appreciation for it, like, you know, understanding where your body should be, understanding where your mind really has to be when you tackle some genres of dance. But yeah, safety, appreciation, I think those are some really important skills for training.
and can I add, you touched on a really good point there. Say the second to last thing you said.
Appreciation.
Appreciation and understanding, because even as a 30-year-old dancer, when I go into a classroom, I'm still learning things in my body. And it's so crazy how we've been doing plies for how long. And something, my favorite ballet teacher ever, Miss Shelly Padilla, shout out to her, love her.
Shout out to Shelly.
Shout out to Shelly, love and prayers to her. Just having someone else say something, like something else 20 years later, connecting, and me having a different understanding of how my muscles work to accomplish successfully a good plie. You know, one thing I tell my dancers all the time: we're not just moving. This ain't just movement. Right? You're not just moving your legs. You're not just going up and down. There are things working to accomplish this. And you have a different type of appreciation for it when you truly understand what it takes to successfully do something. And then one last thing, because y'all not going to talk about this for days, but one last thing is like, would you want an electrician coming to your house to work on your electricity and they ain't got proper training? Do you want to over here? They don't. Would you want someone working on your car that does not have proper training, and you be back in the shop a couple days later spending $5,000 on something that could have been fixed with proper training? So, and I'm gonna just leave that there.
That person. We were definitely having that conversation the other day, and I was like, you know, when I was in the competitive world from the community dance standpoint, seeing, you know, 7-year-old, 8-year-olds walking around with knee braces. I mean, I've seen competitions where full teams are walking in, and almost the whole team, especially the battle squad, are in knee braces, if not on both knees. And I'm like, dude, okay, 1 girl, maybe 2 girls, okay, 3, we got a problem.
But that goes back to, like, knowing the business of dance. You need to be able to afford to bring in somebody to properly train your kids. Like, I think, and if you cannot afford that, then we need to be having a very different conversation, because ain't no way we're going to move the needle and 7, 8, 9-year-olds are still in knee braces. Like, I don't think it's going to get any better.
Getting worse. It's absolutely. I remember many, you know, when I first started at Hutch, touching on different, you know, being at different teams and helping out where I can. I've watched those teams grow over the years, and it's gotten worse. I mean, just watching kids throw their bodies on the floor the way that they do, it's very, very dangerous. And I'm not going to say this out loud, but years from now, there might be some compensation, you know, because that doesn't make sense. And realistically, if I'm 30, y'all, I went down the stairs the other day, my ankle did something, and I'm like, dang, I'm old. And I haven't had any injuries. So imagine when they hit 25, what their bodies are going to be feeling like. I can't even imagine. It's really scary.
Because I mean, seeing preteens knees pop out of place, walking, favoring one side because they can't correctly hold their body posture up. And I think that is crazy. So we definitely understand that. And like I said, and I've said this in the past on previous episodes, I'm not studio trained. However, I've taken time to learn from others, to pull from others, to go and learn from my own how to do certain things correctly, how to continue to train them correctly. What is the correct way of them stretching? Where should their knees be pointed when doing a split? These are the things that you have to take time, because if it's not being done correctly, whether you're in community dance, studio dance, it doesn't matter, because y'all are all still trying to achieve some of the same body movements. And from the field to the studio stage, they have to be done correctly. And yeah, major can cheat sometimes to do some things because of timing and whatever, and I get all of that, and I mean, I definitely understand it from the choreography side of it, but at the same time, we have to make sure we're not injuring the dancer. I mean, who wants to walk around injured because you want to dance? Like, who wants to do that? That's like a football player being injured. That's why they wear out the helmets, to not have the injury. Yet we still let our dancers walk out and be completely injured. Go ahead.
Let me add there, because not to compare, but you got 50, however many coaches, y'all know I'm not into sports at all, but you got however many coaches on that field to make sure that these kids are safe, right? And I don't even, it's not completely the director's fault, the coach's fault, because lack of resources is a thing, right? And that's where I think the public school teacher is so important, because most of our dancers do go out and dance at community teams, and that's where we should fill in the gap of making sure our kids know what is what, because you can teach a kid and they can go teach others. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm teaching in high school. So it does suck that we don't have the resources to go out and have people take care of our kids, our dancers, that who we love and we care for wholeheartedly. And so I don't completely blame the coaches, because sometimes we just don't have the resources. And that's where I'm gonna just plug UDX real quick, because that's where UDX comes in. The whole vision behind the Ultimate Dance Experience was to make sure, or is to make sure, that kids, from no matter where you are, how much money you have, has access to good quality training. And I mean, we've gone in, and when I tell you I do dance for free, I love it so much. And I know people care about the pay and all that stuff, but God gonna bless me regardless.
Amen.
Amen.
So whenever I go into spaces, I don't care. Call me. I will figure it out. I will send somebody that can help you. And for me personally, it's not about the pay. It's about taking care of our children. And so, don't let that be an excuse. I know it can be scary trying to reach out to people, because people can be mean, but not over here. Not over here. So call us.
I think a lot of times kids can be brainwashed because they see things, like, for instance, they think it's not important to learn, the proper way to do things. And they think, I hear this a lot. I want to go be a part of the Golden Girls because they don't have to do all of that. When in reality, they do a lot, and it still has a lot of skills that you need to be trained correctly in. A lot of times the kids don't like to take the time to learn the skills, but that's when you have to, for me, that's when you have to be the coach. And like, it doesn't matter if you don't learn how to do this, you're not going to do that. So I think a lot of times that comes with just the coaches being the coach.
I think too, just to interject, and then I want to read some of the comments. To interject, I think too, as we discussed in a previous show, there is a technique to everything. I don't care if you're bucking, I don't care if you're marching, I don't care. We do teach technique. It may not be the studio version of technique, but we do teach a technique. And even in that, we have to do it. When I see little girls or boys scrubbing the ground and properly hunched over and doing this motion, and I know y'all seen it in many a video, so you understand what I'm doing. I'm like, that is not a buck. That is not what bucking is. I've taught bucking. First off, it depends on what you're doing, because a buck is technically not low. Okay, if you're doing it more of the Jackson State J-Sets way. Now, if you're doing it more of the Passionettes from Albany, or the Alcorn Golden Girls, or some of those, or even motion from or NCAT, they do squat a lot lower in their quote unquote second position. Okay. And they do a deeper plie, or some of them call it picking up the pennies. But even in that, they're still up. They're upright. They're not bent forward. They're sitting upright, and they have a position they have to stretch. They know what that's supposed to look like. And I think a lot of people don't get that. They think they can just go out there and squat their knees and make, their bottom part touch the ground and hunch over and pop their arms, and they're bucking, and that's not bucking. It kills me crazy when I see that at a competition. I'm like, that is not bucking. Who's improperly teaching that child? So there is a technique to anything and everything that we do. And I think if we continue to understand that and keep our minds open, that everything we do has a technique. And if we take the time to properly learn it, as an adult, it can be frustrating. But as an adult, I was just talking to Crockett literally about this the other night. I want to go take some more classes. I feel like I'm losing my skills because I'm not dancing as much as I used to. So it's time for me to go to a class, build myself back up to what I was doing and or better than what I was doing before, because I've been very stagnant in my dance lately or in my performance aspect lately. And I know that. And for me, I need to train myself back up to be what I want to be. And I don't want to just go back to what I was. I want to be better than that.
Amen.
Amen.
Latter age of my 30s. Okay. So we have that. There's a couple of comments real quick, and I know y'all want to chime in. Here we go. So Whitney Nicole said, "Hey, Devondria and Hope, I'm happy I caught this. Perfect ladies for this conversation."
Hey, Whitley.
Hey.
I'll say congratulations, Devondria Douglas. Roberta Williams said, "So proud of you, Devondria Douglas." Roberta Williams says, she was talking back to what Hope was saying, the care and safety of our kids in extracurricular activities, safety in the things you love is key. Whitney Nicole said, "I think people who used to dance or love dance have to stop starting companies and dance groups if they themselves don't have the skills to properly train or the money to bring someone in." Roberta Williams came in and said, parents have to be actively involved in their kids' training, teachings, and execution. Hold these instructors and coaches to a standard of quality and care. Some of these coaches and instructors are of a different breed than back in the day. Kiana Lynn said, the girls tend to hide their injuries because they don't want to miss performances, but you have to stand firm and care about their long-term health as a performer and sit them down until they truly heal.
I agree.
Roberta Williams, y'all gonna hit a note on this because the comments have been rolling in. Roberta Williams says, this is not the generation of patience. No, because they're an instant generation. They are microwaved. Okay. Everything's instant.
They only care. And I wanted to say this earlier. The process is so important. And I think this is why Auxiliary, the Collegiate Way camp is so crucial, because they get to see these dancers that they follow, that they love to watch, and they get to see them speak on the fact that it's a process. And a lot of times we see the end result, and that's where we want to be. And so we get caught up in imitating. Mm-hmm. And we forget that you have to train to get where you want to be. Mm-hmm. You don't become an NFL player by sitting down and chilling on the weekend. They work it. They're playing, they're competing. They're not just in their school sports. They're doing other things. They're putting in the time and the energy. And we forget that you have to invest. You have to invest in yourself and in your future where you want to be. It doesn't just magically happen. And I know year after year, dancers are so disappointed when they go audition for teams and don't make it. And they think that they have what it takes. But baby, you have to have more than personality. You have to be teachable. And if you're not ready to train here now as a child, how are we going to train you when you become an adult? Because now your mind you think you're grown, right? So, like y'all, yes.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of times it be the parents. They have a lot to do with it too. Sometimes they could, they don't let the coach be the coach. So parents overly boost their child, and you can't tell the child no wrong. Yeah, the child is good, but everyone still has room to grow. The child is phenomenal, but she's still doing a leap, and her front leg is bent, and she's landing incorrectly when she does it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of times that comes with the parents having so much to say, and that's where y'all have to let us be the coaches, and because we know what we're talking about. versus you're just there to see, yeah, it looks good to you, but I'm over here upset because she's doing it all wrong.
It look good to you because you don't know.
Okay.
You
Period.
don't know what you're looking at.
Oh, I want to hit that so bad. Let me read these last comments. So, continued education is key. That was by April Hunter Malone. Miss Dr. Evelyn Forte Jones said, "You guys are so right. I have fired people. I hired to work with my team. Safety and a clean environment is most important." And Shaniqua Cook Miller said, "Congratulations, Mrs. Douglas, here to support." All right, real quickly. First off, let's word to the parents real quick. Let me take this banner off real quick. Word to the parents, because I need you to see me nice and big. Word to the parents. You know, I have no curls. Word to the parents. Don't come fighting for your child to be on something they don't have. I don't care if it's high school and or you definitely but not do the collegiate because you will mark your child. You will blacklist your child. But definitely in the high school space, I want to say, please, please, please allow the coaches / and or judges to pick the team. Okay. And I say this because as a coach, I always brought in several qualified, verified, vetted judges to pick my team. I did not pick my team. And the parents will swear up and down, oh, you didn't whatever XYZ story they have or they came up in their head that sounded good. But the problem is I didn't pick the team. The team is picked based on a number. I give them the criteria. I gave them the packet. I gave them everything the contestants are, the candidates are supposed to have. I said, this is the number. You have, they say how many spaces you want, however many spaces you put on the squad. Mm-hmm. So if you give me 20, I'm working with 20. If you give me 2, I'm working with 2. I told every performer on my team, and am I doing this? How many girls do I need on the field? The answer was always 1. I don't have to have a team. I need a feature. We start with a feature. Anything behind that is a team. And I think if people understood that mindset and understand all we need is the 1. You don't have to have 3 and 4. You don't have to have 2. You only need 1. A good 1 will do the job. When you add more than that, that then gives you a team collaborative. Yes, you can do more with formations. Yes, you can do more with, dance and everything, but you only have to have the 1. But I want this generation of parents to please stop going and saving your child if they don't make the cut. It doesn't mean they're bad. There's a lot. Technique will not save you in auditions anymore. It used to, but just because you're technical doesn't save you anymore. Because somebody with personality can kill you who is less technical. Mm-hmm. Somebody with showmanship can kill you who has less personality. Mm-hmm. There are so many factors that go into an audition, and it's not always about your child. When they look at a team process, we're looking to see how they gel together. And if your baby does not gel with what the overall look of what this year's team may look like, it doesn't mean your baby did bad. It means they did not gel at the moment when we were looking at the final product of what we think will be the best for the season. Do we get it wrong sometimes? Maybe, but we have to work our way through that. We can't just go based on, oh, my baby did this, my baby did that, or whatever the excuses are. We love your baby. Your baby not making the team does not mean we don't like your baby. It means at this particular day, they were not the best dancer in the room. Come back tomorrow with a new group of girls, they may be the best dancer in the room. Okay. Or twirler or color guard or whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But can I offer a piece of advice for parents? I'm going to say this to you. If you don't allow your kids to fail with us, they're not going to be coachable wherever they go. So, and I'm gonna give you, for example, if your daughter don't make the team, your son doesn't make the team, instead of you calling me and blowing my phone up, giving me every excuse, oh, my baby was in the grass, oh, my baby stayed up all night. Girl, 1, we don't care because every child stayed up late trying to make the team. So effort is not awarded because it's expected. And I think that's where sometimes coaches and parents, we don't see eye to eye.
I like
effort is required. So I'm not gonna reward.
Yeah, baby, all you get is an E for that.
Like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Get an E for that.
Pass the collection plate.
Required.
What else
Y'all be trying to come to us like, oh my God, my baby did it. Baby, everybody baby did it. But who did it better? And that's what I'm judging. I'm not judging effort. I'm judging, does your child know how to read the room in an audition to know it's time for them to step up? Does your child understand that it's not about them? even one better. If your child mess up in audition, does your child know how to keep going? Because I've seen girls make teams who missed every step of a routine, but they kept going in the audition. So you give me that effort. It's not rewarded. Like, parents, y'all got to remember that effort's not rewarded. It's required. Yes, Whitley. Thank you. Yes.
Wait, but here's one more. Here's one more. Here's one more real quick. So, and this is the last thing I want to say on the parents. Not we're gonna move on, but you got some comments that came in because baby Devondria just dropped the mic.
Okay.
So, with that being said, look. So with that thing with the parents too, and I said this in an audition. I've judged about 3 of them just in the last couple of weeks, and I said this in an audition, literally to someone in the past week, and I said to the candidates in front of their parents after the audition, an audition is a private performance. And if you come to an audition not looking like you're ready to perform, you already cut yourself out of the audition.
You did.
And I think a lot of kids are resting on safe and, oh, well, I wear this at practice, so I can wear this. If the criteria says all black, baby, you better be in all black. And first off, if you are performing twirl, dance, or color guard, you should be in something that would give uniform quality or standard. I don't care if it is a bra and shorts, a sports bra and shorts, or whatever the required criteria would be. But a audition is a private performance. And if you come to an audition thinking, oh, it's just an audition, why did you show up? You are giving a private performance to a set of judges that are going to then decide your fate with what you said you wanted. But did you really show up? Because if you came here looking like practice attire, you don't know what an audition is. Comments. Sorry, y'all. Congratulations. Oh, Shaniqua Cook said, oh, we already read that one. Okay. Yeah, Shaniqua Cook came back and said, how much time is spent educating parents? Good question. How much time is spent educating parents on a process of using third-party judges?
Please let me take this one. Let me tell you something. It's not. They don't. So now that so for those who don't know, I don't work in fine arts 9 to 5 anymore. I'm not in arts admin. I work in leadership development. What I've seen, the resources that are out there, it doesn't educate parents. It don't educate administrators. It's not educating coaches. Like, we are really at a disadvantage. Parents, I love that you advocate for your child, but sometimes even asking the right questions to the coach, like you don't know. And I always say to coaches, when you're bringing in third-party judges, bring in judge out. This is my golden rule. You bring in a coach that knows your program and knows the history, so they know what you're working with. They know your base. You bring in one coach who doesn't know your program at all, who's there to really push the vision. And then you have what I call your safety judge. This is the one who's like a true teacher. They're like, oh, this kid has potential. Like, that's my magic 3. And I tell parents that in our informational, these are the type of people that I'm bringing in. Your child has to resonate with one of these people, because if they don't, there's nothing that Devondria can do for them, because I can't teach effort. I always go back to I can't teach effort. So if none of these 3 different stories speak to the child during their audition, there's nothing I can do. And then also when bringing in third-party judges for parents, it's also to protect the coach. So you can never say that I am biased. You're not going to be running up in my car after school. You're not going to be hunting me down at a football game. Well, my daughter did such and such. Okay, well, baby girl.
Baby was good at stalking you. Next comment says, sometimes it hinders the student's ability to know where they really are skill-wise. When I think that was when parents are saving them. Willie also said, effort is not, baby. But Devondria, look, Smith RS said, put that on a t-shirt, Douglas.
No, for real.
DG Fine Arts needs to put that on a t-shirt. I will be your first purchaser, because that is definitely a bar. Effort is not rewarded, it's required. Okay. And Miss Dr. Evelyn Forte Jones says, politics slip in when all else fails. New coaches, it's a beast. That's
and it
true.
Never stops.
You got to be ready for the politics, because it is definitely there. All right, y'all, we're gonna move to the next topic, because look, that one got the people started. I wasn't even thinking that was the heated topic of the night, but baby, we got that one started. All right. Our next topic. I think I might have doubled my topic on here. Okay. So our next topic. No, I did double topic. Okay. Here we go. So we want to expand on this conversation. Devondria kind of opened the door, and we definitely asked, but I definitely want to expand this conversation. So this is an expanded conversation. The business of dance, different dance spaces / exposure. So definitely speak on going into these areas we don't go into. I can only give a little bit of a glimpse, but I know like I took the auxiliary team I used to work with into a MA competition. Very not out of our category because they do everything that we do, but out of our category because we were one of the few Black teams. They are all minority-based teams. So it puts us in a realm where we are not the show. We are just trying to be in the room. Kids definitely were not comfortable watching and seeing other teams that do completely different things at a different level of skill, different whatever from us. But walking in those rooms from that aspect is performance and seeing how do we fit into the room? What can my team, because it's not so much about placing for me, because I put that very much at the bottom. If people go and all you want is the first place trophy and all that, then you're with the wrong coach. I always teach exposure first. Putting you in the room so that you can see what others do. What can you take back? What can you add? What could we do better to meet that level? How do we get there? Taking them to MA competition was very much out of our range, but my kids, when they left with so much drive to come back and do it another way. That going to other styles of competitions that were in our realm did not do. So what do you think about this? I know, Devondria, you heard a little bit of yours. I'm going to let you go back in again, but I want to give Crockett a chance to weigh in on the business of dance.
So I'm very big on this right now because, as y'all know, I have a lot of teachers that I work with and advocate for. And one thing that I learned from stepping out of the classroom, and you kind of talked about it earlier, as a dance educator and a director of a dance team or drill team, we do so much. And I encourage every teacher watching right now that may think that they're, wanting to venture out or not sure, or you think you're supposed to be in the classroom for 30 years, I encourage you to write out every single thing that you do, like a little personal resume, just for yourself, just to show yourself what you do on a daily basis. And you'd be surprised how all of that can be flipped into a different job, right? I mean, from designing shirts that you do for your team, right? That's making logos, that's branding, right? From what else do we do? Budgeting, how we put together shows, how we, even for myself, I would do the lighting and all that, the other things, but all of that stuff is a business. And so when we think of ourselves, we're just teachers, that's cool. But realistically, you're an independent contractor. You can go out and brand yourself and build your own name. Now I'm creating t-shirts and designs and if you want to be on Canva, Photoshop, baby, that's a skill that a lot of people don't have or know how to use. You could be training people. There's so many different things you could be doing outside of your classroom. And so that's not as big as like being in the production realm. But even there, you putting on shows, how hard is that? How much work, how many systems do you have to create to make sure your shows run smoothly year after year? That's a lot of work. And if you were like myself, you were by yourself managing up to 200 to 300 kids all alone while running a show, while doing the lights, while having kids on the music, while coaching kids on how to greet and invite people in. That's a lot. You could go take that to the Dallas Arts District and sell yourself. You know what I mean? I can do these things. I do it all the time. And I think we think of it like, oh, this is what we do. That's amazing. We're amazing. And so I just always encourage, and right now specifically, I'm encouraging a lot of people to go out and look at these job descriptions as central in administrative positions. you have those exact skills and qualifications. And then when you rebuild your resume, don't make it so much dance focused, but like you're doing these things. You build your resume to sell yourself in no matter what room you're wanting to go into, because believe it or not, you are more than qualified. If you've been doing it especially over 3 years, I got like Whitley. I mean, y'all, if you don't know Whitley, you need to know Whitley. I hope she's still
and
there.
do
Tag yourself, plug yourself there, Whitley, because I mean, from the videography, the fact that she does this out of love for her team. I don't know her history. She can speak on it. Invite her one time for the podcast. But I would definitely like the fact that she does this videography. That's amazing. You don't even know, like, girl, I want to hire you just to do other stuff. You know what I mean? So these are skills that you can take and you can use, especially as a teacher in the summer. Baby, I'd be snapping everybody. Let's go. Let's do this thing. And then the fact that you have the dance background. One thing I'm super passionate about is lighting, because we have people that do light design. But if you're not a dancer, you don't really understand how to make those lights with the people. That's a skill. And people are making buku bucks. Money. Go get training. Go call what's the company? XTE Ion. Amazing. They will train you on the phone. That's why I used to call them. They were, hey, it's Hope again. Hey, I'm here, right? And so all these skills that we have, we can easily take it to the business side. And I thank Devondria so much, because when she was dance manager in DISD, I think one of my kids trying to get here, dance for DISD, she encouraged me so much, because I'm thinking I'm finna be in the classroom a good 10 years. I was on year 8 at the time. And she's like, Hope, no, you're too, like, you got to get out that classroom. What would you tell me? Like, you're too smart. You understand things in a different way. You need to get out of the classroom. And I'm like, okay, girl. So I went and I started working on my administration certification. Y'all pray for me because I'm still working on it. And I'm like, okay. And then she was like, girl, no. And so, yeah, that's why I'm here, right? And so I just thank her so much for listening to God. I can't thank her enough. I'm thankful that I listen to God, because all I want to do is show people that you can do and be so much more. And dance educators are so amazing and so brilliant, and we handle so much. We can go in any space. I promise you that. I've been looking at job descriptions. We're qualified. For sure.
More than qualified, baby.
Qualified. And not even just dance. I mean, every band.
Okay.
Well, I'm telling you, I was talking to LaManuel the other day. I was like, so we're not just this. We're not just arts, we are administration. We are your curriculum builders. We are your writers. We can do so much. The business side, I mean, come on. I hope I'm speaking to somebody. Go look at them them descriptions. I guarantee you fit it.
Okay, baby. Smith RS said good stuff. Whitley Nicole also said Devondria and Hope have done an excellent job setting a standard for our students to be exposed in various spaces. So grateful for that in public education. And that's the key. It's in public education that they are getting that. And we know that can be very hard, but you have those who are out there fighting tooth and nail to give it to those who may not be able to afford it any other way. So we appreciate that. All right, we're going to switch conversation. Wait, Devondria, did you want to add to that?
No. I think I echo everything Hope said, and y'all, it's a little bit passionate for me because I'm living this now. Like, I took a gamble on myself and left arts administration and had to do this exact thing, like show where my skills are transferable. And now I'm in a space where people love me because I'm able to speak that. But y'all, stop selling yourself short. Like, I told Hope this during our transition, but if you keep allowing them to tell you those 4 walls is all you good for, then that's all you're gonna ever believe. Your version of your story deserves to be at the table. And if you You know, Lord, this is you, so I'm going to say it. If you selfishly stay in the classroom, you are hiding your gift from somebody who needs it. And there are so many dance educators where I'm just like, girl, I know you love the kids, but move. Like, and I quote myself talking to Hope, like, girl, I know you got it. You can hit the step. We know it, but we need you here, especially post-COVID. Because if you did not teach during COVID, respectfully, you cannot tell me anything. Because until you live teaching through that, you really can't talk to me. If you wasn't out there figuring out masks every week for every uniform with every costume, trying to make sure your kids still had an experience, you can't really talk to me. But those teachers who did, stop selling yourself short. Not get out the classroom, but figure out what lane of education you work on. And when we talk about the business of dance for the audience, this is what we're talking about. I'm putting on a show, but let me tell you all of the departments that I would hit. If I'm putting on choreography, that's curriculum. What did you teach your kids? When it's time for me to purchase something, that's the front office and that's procurement. When I'm talking down to writing down cues, now I'm into tech theater. When I'm talking about transporting kids on a bus, now we're talking logistics. Like, my job is not the four walls of my classroom and we boom kitty cat cat. And that ain't it.
That is not all.
It's not it. And when you reword your resume, and for those of you who need help, perplexity.ai. And if you need some help, hit me in my DM because I will help you. Perplexity AI will help you rewrite your resume in a way where if you want to switch fields, you can, because you're so good at what you do. And dancers, y'all know how to read a room, baby. Y'all are the best vibe curators I have ever met. Okay? Because you can walk into a room and be like, baby, this wall needs to be yellow, and it'll change the complete vibe. No musician can do that. No, maybe a visual artist can do that, but dancers, like, that's also our superpower that I think that we don't lean into enough, especially even in the business of dance and the relationships. When I also talk about benefiting people in the business of dance, on the other side of the world, what happens is when I send my kids to camp, it's not, this regular camp. It's a camp that their friend is putting on. So you take $150, multiply it by Cindy who team, who got 63 girls, and Lindy Sally team, who got 55 girls. And they all going to Cindy who camp in the summer. Meanwhile, you have the rest of us over here struggling, trying to figure it out. But they've built an economic, sustainable system that I think we, on our side of the world, have to get. Like, we can do that. And I think that's why I'm we're there. Like, we're right there on that verge. And I think once the experts take the microphone back, I think we're going to be in a good space. Like, I think we're that wave.
We got to plug, y'all, when I tell you auxiliary way camp, I can't.
Yes.
It's so, you're talking about college dancers who have lived it or are living it, captains, and even if they're not captains, they've been a part of the experience, being able to pour into our children and echo the same thing we're talking about: skill building, technique, all of those things. And then you got somebody coming in to focus specifically on technique and skill and teaching them alignment and the proper way to execute movement, and really taking time with them to get it in their brains and get it in their bodies, because muscle memory is real, right? I mean, I cannot praise that camp enough. Get your kids there. All of you with teams that you can't afford to have a coach come in and teach technique, bring them to the camp and stay connected, because everybody on this podcast right now, we love what we do, and I guarantee it's not about the funding and you know, all that is cool, but it's bigger than that. And one thing that I'll say, my mentor, when I was hesitant about leaving the classroom, I loved my kids at Wilma Hutchins High School to the core, whatever fiber in my being, I did not want to leave them. But when she told me, Hope, yes, them four walls, that's cool, you touching them kids, but you will be able to touch and reach and pour into so many more kids from a different platform if you just move. And y'all, that was the truth.
Yeah.
I've been able to reach kids at Carter, WT White, Molina, everywhere in Dallas ISD, no matter their background, no matter what they do and what their passions are moving forward. I've been able to pour into them some way, somehow, maybe like directly, or even through the things that I've been able to move and the resources I've been able to provide for these kids. And even being able to, y'all, pour into, we can't forget about our teachers, being able to pour into the teachers. You know, we need people that understand the struggle and what it takes to run programs. It's not easy. And I feel for our teachers so badly. And y'all have no idea. Like, I be praying, the Lord be moving on y'all's behalf. And I'm just so thankful for dance, y'all. And I'm so sorry. We gonna stop.
No, y'all are fine.
Yeah, you good, because you say you touching people.
Baby, this is your ministry, and if they don't feel the spirit in what we're doing, yes, we're talking about dance, yes, we're talking about performance, yes, we're talking about business, but the spirit is all in the midst of this. I don't know, baby. Look, don't confuse. The spirit don't only have to be in church; he can be on the spot.
It's supposed to be everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah. So Kiana Lynn said, Crockett, I'm rewording my resume while I'm listening. I need to do it.
You better do it.
Lashita Skinner said, yes, Hope and Devondria, thank you for lighting another fire in me. Dr. Evelyn Forte Jones said, I tuned in tonight because WHS, or Wilma Hutchins High School, is my graduating high school. It was also my first high school majorette job. Miss Crow, who was the drill team director, and Devondria is my TMC baby, which is Townview Magnet Center. I am WHHS proud and TMC proud. I am the one of the last old schools. Yes, she is. Okay, y'all, we have some good other topics. Let's keep the show going. Yeah. All right, because look, baby, God is moving. He's doing a great work, okay? Right here on this show. Y'all thought when they said high administration, it was going to be boring, didn't y'all? Y'all didn't know y'all was going to come get this tonight. So look, put on your seatbelt because we ain't done yet. All right, the next topic says, do you feel that when our students leave high school, they are ready for collegiate level? Quay, look, you shook your head, so I'm gonna let Quay go first. I know she don't talk very much. I'm gonna let Quay go first, then we're gonna let our panelists weigh in on what they think and what they see.
Honestly, it's about, do you feel that you've done your job correctly? So being that, like I said before, today and how we used to learn, we were more driven. Today, it's a little harder trying to, reach the kids and trying to prepare them for college. But you do have those few who are dedicated and take it seriously. Now, if those students do prepare and train as we teach, I do feel like they are prepared, not just physically, but mentally too, because high school and college is it's a different world. So, for example, when I was in high school and I was dancing, I thought, hey, yeah, I'm going to try out for this team. I'm going to make it and I'm going to live the best life. No, that's not what happened. I tried out. First off, my freshman year in college, I did not dance. I tried out my sophomore year and I was excited to be a part of a new organization because I was still doing what I love. And I was just happy to be a part of a new team. But then getting into it, I had to, yes, I'm trained. Yes, I know how to do all of these things, but mentally it was new because I had so much pressure. I had school, I had band, and I had to learn all this new stuff. I had to learn a whole new style. And it was like, yeah, I could do it physically. I was physically able to do it, but mentally I'm pushing myself because, you're not doing all of that when you're in high school. You don't have that pressure on you where, okay, I got to learn a whole routine today and then have it perfect by tomorrow type of thing. So it's kind of hard to say, but if you have those students who do take it seriously, I really feel like they are more than prepared, and we have to keep speaking inspiration into them, because a lot of times kids today, they look at stuff on social media and they look at how the not competition, but girls coming from everywhere just as good as you to try out with you. You have to keep speaking. You can do this. You got this. All you got to have is tunnel vision. Do it for you and do it for God. This is what you were meant to do. So, yeah, I do feel like they are prepared. What?
All right. Whichever panelist, you did good. I'm just proud of you. Having a proud moment. All right. y'all gotta understand, it's an inside joke because Quay gets nervous to talk. So I always have to continue to encourage her. And she's starting to fly. She's starting to fly.
Thank y'all.
All right. So and even her being on this podcast has been a test to me because, baby, she shut me down the first time I asked her about it. But that's neither here nor there. Okay, so let's whichever one of y'all want to go first. It is if y'all want to weigh in.
I'll go ahead. I don't think they're ready, and I will say that from an administrative seat. So in my seat, well, now Hope seat, but in that seat. you have to please both sides of the coin. On one hand, I have to remind myself that I'm dealing with children who have parents. And specifically, when you're dealing with Latino children, cultural things play a huge factor in getting those kids to be active. So I don't think they're ready because I have to fight this on one hand. And on another coin, I have to make sure my teachers are ready to receive the resources to make those kids be better. And from our seat, sometimes teachers are not in the best mental space to receive that you need help. And so I've seen a lot of kids who go to teachers with so much potential, but the teacher does not have the talent to shape that. And that child goes on to not be prepared. On top of, I see a lot of coaches who are not really coaches. They're just old dancers who were given this. You were blessed with this opportunity to lead a group or a team, but you don't really have the skill set to get your kids there. And sometimes it's an ego check. I don't have the skill set. And like I tell people, I'm a builder. Devondria is a builder. I'm not a sustainer. I go into spaces and I build them up because the Lord gave me the wisdom to know when it's time to leave. Like when it's time to pass something on. I don't think that those words of wisdom are given to coaches. And I also think kids are also not prepared though, because they have TikTok stamina. What I always say is you are not you can't go be on Broadway doing 1-minute reels on TikTok. Like, who do you think you are? Like, you're not going to survive 8 shows a week, 8 shows, 6 days a week, going 12-hour days. Like, you don't have that. And I think education puts us in a box sometimes where we have to obey the law and still try to figure out how do I really get my kids. And speaking for my hometown, only 3% of all seniors are going into programs from my fine arts program. If you want to talk numbers, only 3% of our kids are really ready to go into fine arts programs. Meanwhile, we have 2 big colleges with fine arts programs, and one of them is dying in Dallas. And our kids are genuinely they're not. I don't think that they're ready, but I think it's everybody has not really done their part to get these kids caught back up. Because like I said, the experts, it's time for us to take the microphone back. And I think the audience has had their time and their feel. And it's time for the real coaches to go on and just move us on along.
I'll add to that. So when I think of this question, I'm not just thinking, dance is not the first thing that comes to mind. I've always been concerned about students going off to college because it is such a different beast all in itself. And adding on an activity makes it so much harder. I think that most people are just not prepared in general. I don't care what you're going into, what field you're going into. As a community, we've dropped the ball in getting students prepared, or coaching our kids to go somewhere that's not meant for them in the first place, right? And so a lot of times, college heavy, college heavy, college heavy. I remember one year, I was in high school and they were asking, like, what does everybody want to do? And this little boy was like, I want to be a truck driver. And everybody just laughed, but like he knew exactly what he wanted to do. So, right then and there, you have a different route to take, a different pathway. And I think we could all, as teachers, as educators, parents, as adults, do a better job at really talking to kids about their future. Because one thing that's always stuck with me, I was a psychology minor in college. And when they're at the age of a high school student, they're literally only thinking about right now. And if you go back to who you were as a high school student, you were thinking about who doing what, who talking about who, what's going on, what happened yesterday in Miss So-and-so's class. That's what you're consumed with. And then you have social media on top of that. Now they're not thinking about their future. And so when you start having those conversations, now I'm a Cedar Hill collegiate graduate. So whenever I am in the classroom, I'm always talking about the future. Like I've had them put together binders. What is your plan? What's your goals? What are your top 3 school? Having them think about what their future is, because you need to plan with the end in mind. So if I know where I'm trying to go, I know exactly what it is that I need to do. And when you're thinking at it from a dance standpoint, if I know my student is in love with dance and wants to go off to be a collegiate dancer, okay, we need to start talking about what schools. You need to start exploring and looking at different options, so you know exactly what it is that you need to be working on and developing in yourself. And so, in short, majority of our kids are not prepared to go to college whatsoever. And then adding on the extracurricular activities, they're not even thinking about how to get there. They're thinking about the right now. And we could all do a much better job at helping and guiding kids to think about who they want to be 5 to 10 years from now.
Before I read the comments, I just would like to say the views and opinions expressed here by Brandon Banks are just that, his views and opinions, because I'm about to say something that I know it's going to ruffle. But I just want to make sure they don't take that out on anybody. It's me, and I can take my own verbal lashing. Okay. I'm gonna piggyback off of Crockett, because she definitely went down the path I was gonna go down. Before we even get about performance level collegiate, definitely academic. Speaking from the academic term as a seasoned English teacher and someone who now is about to be soon a language therapist. Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Okay. So speaking of all of that, many of our kids cannot read on grade level. I'm going to just speak to the academic side of it. We're not reading on grade level. If I put a collegiate book in front of them, many of them will not know how to read at least 30% of the book. At least 30% of the book, because the word level is too high for them, which means they don't even have the decoding skills to read words they're unfamiliar with. Academically, I've always said this as a teacher, that everybody's not meant to go to college. And I'm a firm believer in that. Some people need to go to trade school, get you a trade. And those who, if high school almost took you out, not saying you will never be able to go to college. Remember, college is a very different step. Not everybody needs to go immediately to college. Mm-hmm. Some need what we call a quote unquote gap year, or some time to live life and understand life, figure them out, then circumvent to college. If not a trade school, go and pick up other things such as truck driving school or other things that you can make a good living wage and continue to explore life and life contents. When we get into the performance level of college, pick my words wisely, Having a dream. Nope, I'm going to be careful. Having a dream is one thing. Putting in the work is another.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of our people think they can want something, and because they want it, they're going to get it.
No.
Again, back to my statement of the microwave generation. Okay, if I want popcorn, I pop it in the microwave, I have popcorn. I don't have to stand under the stove, pour the kernels, put the butter, stir it around so it don't burn. There's a lot of that. And because, again, back on the statement of taking the time to be properly trained, properly, all the things that we said earlier, they don't understand what being collegiate ready. You cannot wait to senior year audition season and say, I want to be collegiate ready, or I'm going to go dance collegiate or perform at the collegiate level, whether it be twirl or color guard. You have to be doing that from an early age. As a coach, my last coaching stint anyway, where me and Crockett met, but our last coaching stint, I used to make my parents sign a contract that made them understand that everything this team tries to do is pushing towards a collegiate level, whether we make it or not. So the practice hours will be somewhat collegiate, not fully because they're in public school, but they're these little 1.5, 2 hour rehearsals. Girl, go somewhere and sit down. We're going to be rehearsing at 8 o'clock, up at 8:30, okay? Because by 8:15, we still giving notes and things, okay? The uniforms, the amount of training, because the audition may be in March, but from a week after auditions through summer, we're in camp because you can't get ready for football season in football season.
Yeah.
Okay. And 2 weeks prior to football season is not ready. That's beginning stage. So you have to understand there is a level of work and grind and grit that takes place when you're talking about the performance collegiate level ready. If we're talking about the academics collegiate level ready, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this with convention, and again, the words and opinions that are expressed here are Brandon Banks and Brandon Banks' only opinion. Public school does not fully prepare our kids for college. You have to go further. And I'm a magnet student, and I'm telling you that. When I went to Townview Magnet Center back in the early 2000s, when I went to college, it felt like a repeat of high school because we were trained at a collegiate level. And I'm not fussing when I'm not teaching. I'm sorry, but I'm so passionate about this. But in the meantime, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it at that because I didn't say too much. But with that being said, and I stand in what I said, but with that being said, when we have to understand that a parent can come up here and complain about a grade and a teacher has to find a alternative assignment to make up a grade that your child did not do the first time, not because they were sick, not because they had a extenuating circumstance that prevented that, but because they chose not to do it. And we got to find a extracurricular assignment. And I used to tell my administration this all the time, and I'm not telling you to do this, but I'm gonna tell you what Brandon Banks did. I'm not giving you extra credit because you didn't do what was required. You can go make up the required assignment and we will grade it accordingly.
Extra.
But I'm not giving extra for those people who tried, failed, and now I'm giving you something extra to boost your grade up. I think we have lost the understanding because I never understood extra credit because we use it as a pawn to just make people pass. And I'm not doing that. You're going to do what's required first. Then we can talk about the extra. Okay? So are we collegiate ready? No. And I say that in all aspects. There's a work level, grind, and grit that takes place to get to that level. And you cannot wait to junior year and senior year. You have to be on that grind really coming in your freshman year and maybe 8th grade year. Because if you waited to your junior and senior year, you've been surpassed by so many other people that want it just as bad as you do.
Thanks.
I'm done.
Oh, and I just got to say this. That just touched a nerve right there. Especially for our Black and brown kids. You're already at a disadvantage because of your skin color, and then very likely because of where you live. Yeah. That is very unfortunate, but it is the reality. And I used to preach this all the time. And I know my kids were tired of me, but I needed them to understand that coming to class on time every day, that ain't even the bare minimum, baby. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And then on top of that, everything that someone is asking you, baby, is part of the process. Because once you get out into the real world, if you don't know how to create systems, and I'm talking about just daily, I ain't mean to do the little thing, just daily, like y'all, okay, say I didn't go to college. I got 2 children that I got to feed every day. I got to go to work and make time to feed them. My 4-year-old has homework. I have to create a system that works, that allows me time to take care of myself, to have some peace, to get the rest that I need. That's simple.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about going into jobs that require you building systems, if you can't adhere to systems created for you, how are you going to create your own? And how are you going to be able to hold people to that standard? So that touches the nerve, because you have people in other area codes that the bare minimum, that's not enough for them. A C ain't enough. I want A's. I want to be at the top of my game at all times. And when you get into spaces where you're competing, realistically, you may, because of your mindset, you may never even get into a space to compete with them, but that's the goal. You want to be able to get into a room. So yeah, we can talk all day. And I tell my kids, we can talk all day and we can have a good time. We can kiki. However, when I go into a different space, I know how to switch it up. And I know how to look the part, act the part, talk the part, because that is what we're supposed to do. We should be able to adapt in any situation. And if you can't go and handle your business in high school, which is the bare minimum. The STAR test is a minimum. That is
minimum.
Minimum.
And I mean bare minimum.
Minimum. In my day, it was the tax test. It was minimum. It was our at my high school. It was 100% passing, 90% commended, which is mastering. The expectation is 90% of this school is going to master the test. It was nothing less than that. So when we talk about and we get into numbers in our Black and brown schools where you got 30% passing, that's scary. A bare minimum test, that's very scary. And people don't understand we have so much work to do. So for me, I could care less about dance, baby. If you can't handle the bare minimum, I really don't even want to talk. We ain't got nothing to talk about. What we got to talk about is what are our goals and what we doing. So a lot of majority of our kids are not collegiate ready. That's point blank, period. I stand by exactly what Brandon said, and a lot of that comes with, someone said it in the comments, entitlement. We think that we deserve this A, we deserve this B, and I tell my kids in a second, I'm going on record with this because this is going to be recorded. Baby, it's easier for me to put in zeros than to put in hundreds. All I got to do is
you ain't never lied. Boop boop.
Down, boop 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 to put in the other grades. So don't do your work. Don't do your work. You're making my job easier. Do I want you to be successful? Absolutely. Am I going to help you and give you all the tools necessary? Yes. But you're going to learn real quick in that first 6 weeks or 9 weeks, whatever it is now. You don't get to just show up for me. You're going to show up and you're going to do the work. I don't care if you like it or not. How many jobs have we had on this platform that we didn't like? But baby, did we want our check? Did we want to eat later? Yes. Did we want to be able to put gas in our car? Absolutely. So a lot of one of the motto, someone said when I was in high school, you got to do what you don't want to do to be able to do. No, you got to do what you need to do to be able to do what you want to do. And so once you get past the little stuff, now I'm in position where I get to make the call. I get to create the systems. I get to hold the expectations for people because I've experienced it and I have met the bare minimum and met the expectation and exceeded the expectation. So yeah, we can talk about this for days.
So the comments are saying, Roberta Williams says, you all are dropping some good nuggets tonight. Of course, Tony Delisha said, hey, everyone. Willie Nicole says, sometimes it depends on the program. I was a drill team, then went to a PWI dance program and was like, what is all this rolling on the floor?
I was like, what the heck?
A lot of students dropped because of that. I didn't, but to me, that can be a lack of preparation. Now, team-wise, more students are getting prepared if they know where they want to go. Mm-hmm. She said, "They're rolling on the floor, baby."
At TW, no, seriously, like
I was like, "What?"
Tony Williams said, "Woo, you said a mouthful." I believe that was to I don't remember if that was Devondria or Crockett, but it was, well, both of y'all said a mouthful, so it don't matter. Tony also said they also don't have the same drive, and the coaches are okay with not having to work so hard too, baby. You better say it, because I think a lot of people love to have a pre-made team where you come with the skills and you don't have to build. But one thing I have always taken pride in is that I can take anybody off the street and make a performance.
And make you, baby.
And that takes work. That takes work. Because if you're somebody who comes with a little bit of studio background or some training and you didn't have to do as much, all you do was take that and just polish it, okay, that's an easy job. But to build somebody who have two left feet, can't move,
can't count,
right, and don't know how to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that takes
don't know they left from their right. And when you say the 5, 6, 7, 8 left,
they be up there like this trying to figure out which way to go.
That's the work.
And got the attention span of a 2-year-old.
Seriously.
Really? Whitney Nicole said it has been hard to train parents while we have high standards for students to be committed. They try to do everything, but then are mad when they are not excelling in dance, when they finally want to get serious. And the parents have been promoting, well, she wants to do this and that sport and dance. And I'm like, lady, but you know she loved dance and want to do this. Why are you not promoting focus now? Because I think a lot of that is, and I say this with caution, because when our kids finally get a chance to get into some programs, maybe at the middle school age in public school, they're able to kind of balance all of those things because they have classes and periods and before and after school, so they can be a part of everything. But when you get to high school, and I've said this for years, you have to pick the one. And so many times our kids pick sports, and I'm not against sports. I think if you have a passion for that, definitely do it. But we know that only 1% in many of the areas that we focus our attention on will ever make it in that area. But fine arts again and again and again has been proven to have more openings and give more scholarships and more funding and more everything, but we don't put our kids in those areas. We put them on the court or on the field or wherever the sport is, the gymnasium, and we let them follow that passion because they like it and it's entertaining. But why are we not giving them other skills? And then they can't pick, and then when they pick sports. And so we lose out on another potential performer or artist that could have shown their craft because they wanted to go be with the cool kids, I guess, in a sense of way. Roberta Williams says a lot of kids today feel entitled, but lack the commitment and work ethic to get the job done. Subpar effort with high school expectations, and then parents not holding kids accountable with little guidance and responsibility. Whitney Nicole said, "If high school almost took you out." Because Whitney, it really be tough to take them out. There ain't enough hearts for this, baby. Y'all saying it. I've seen amazing dancers not even make it through crab camp. Okay. Tony says, I've seen, I'm sorry. Oh, I just read that. Roberta says, absolutely. Tiffany Clark says, woo, child, it's ridiculous out here. Hey, Tiffany. Lashida Skinner says, I have found it is hard to get students into the mindset that they will need in a collegiate setting. It feels that this generation, especially since COVID, easily throws in the towel when things get hard. If parents can back us up versus letting the child pull out when things get hard, they will see we are setting them up for success in the long run. Baby, look, let me tell you what my mama said. If you sign up, you're going to put up.
Okay.
Period, point blank. There's no period.
Thank for that.
If I put my deposit in,
you're staying.
You're staying. I don't care what changes. You're staying. Roberta Williams says college prep requires additional training and resources beyond the basics in high school, i.e., or example, private lessons, specialized training, and exposure to all accepts of your passion. Taylor Hayes said, Lashida Skinner, they have an aversion to hard work and the parents don't back us up. They want us to make it easier for their kids.
Can't do that.
Williams said, amen. Baby, the comments are rolling in so fast, I can't keep up. Tiffany Clark said, there's no accountability or responsibility built in the culture of secondary education now, and it's beyond sad. These kids expect that everything they do should be accepted, then get out here flailing around like the balloon at car dealerships, all over the place and unprepared. I feel bad for our educators, shaking my head. Roberta Williams says, baby, facts. Kiana Lynn says, I think we also need to get back to making our teams do community service at least once.
Yes.
Tony Delisha says, my brother is a prime example.
I was just talking about your brother earlier before you got on.
Lashida Skinner says, yes, we are constantly told that kids can do all things, but in reality, this is not true, especially for myself and others. Colleges trying to build programs, other colleagues trying to build programs. I'm sorry. We have expectations to get our students where they need to go, but it takes commitment, time, and dedication. And the final comment before we switch topics, and I know we're going to have to wrap up because we are pushing over time, and I know they got to go to work in the morning because they definitely have an admin job, but we're going to pick the best final few topics. We're going to try to hit them real quick. We're going to do a fast pass. Roberta Williams says, I am for the era of no pass, no play, and progress reports. Baby, my coaching and band director would pop up in classes.
Let me
tell y'all this real quick before we hit this. First off, your audition, you have to have a tryout. You had to have a transcript. I don't want no progress, no record. Transcript, because I want to see the history of what you've been doing. Because if you have a history of failing, there's nothing you can do for me on my team. Okay, go get them grades up and we can talk about it next year. Now, second thing, I pulled progress reports every week on my kids. And if I didn't like the grade I saw, I talked to the teacher prior to speaking with them. And if I knew that it was something they needed to do, they already had tutoring scheduled. And you're going to be in tutoring during practice time because there's nothing you can do for me until your grades are passing. I need a passing performer, not a failing one, okay? Because somebody else could have had your spot. Amen? Amen. And I think if we hold them to that accountability, we wouldn't have that issue, okay? Because grades before anything. Okay, because life is more than performing. Performing you may be great at, but you're going to be great at this academics too. We're going to have both. Okay. I don't care whether you struggle there or whether we get there with ease. We're going to get there. Okay. Tiffany Williams put this in there. Then we're going to hit these comments real quick. And some of these we're just going to make really quick statements or responses. Tiffany Clark says, our kids lack psychological fortitude and are very self-centered. However, their mental health needs are practically overlooked.
Very true.
Very, very true. And there's a lot of mental in that. All right, let's hit some of these topics. Some of these next ones are simple responses, and we'll hit as many as we can really quickly before we wrap up because I want y'all to be able to get a good night's sleep because you got to go do the work of the Lord tomorrow. Okay. Let's see. So we are, okay, these are simple yes or no questions, okay? Does public schools or districts have sufficient number of art teachers? And that could be any of the arts.
No.
Okay. Next question. Are certified art teachers the ones delivering the arts instruction?
No.
And primarily?
Depends. I'm going to say depends on where you at nowadays. Depends on what district you're in.
Because I'll just say that it's cool to have a certification, but anyone can take that certification test. So you're dealing with people who are certified in the area, but do not have the training in the area.
Are not specialized.
And do not have the skill to teach dance in a classroom. And that is a really big problem.
And I wish they could make a class for twirlers and color guard. I really would, because that is a skill that is drowning and you cannot just teach that after school. That has to be taught just like band or choir or any of the other arts. That is an art in itself and it needs to be taught in the classroom.
For all my twirl and color guard advocates, there's a PAIMS code that matches a course that's actually in the state of Texas where you can go and advocate it for it to be a class if you didn't know that. So we can make strides. Just want to put that out there. There are PAIMS codes for you guys out there.
Yes.
Your administrators will know what that means.
Does the arts instruction focus on more than just performance?
Absolutely.
Can y'all give us some examples for those who may not be as...
I always say when we're dealing with children in our classrooms, we're teaching people how to present themselves. I mean, how to show up, how to talk, how to verbalize information, how to teach. There's so many different things that we're feeding so many different parts of our children in band, in all the art forms. It's not just about the music. It's not just about the dancing and all of those things. Hopefully, if you're in a good program, but we're feeding these children from head to toe, or supposed to be feeding them. I mean, at least we did. I don't know about these other two.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. And it is only, and I'm playing devil's advocate here. Ideally, in a perfect world, we want what Hope just described, but what we deal with is not that. I think a lot of people focus too much on performance, and kids are missing critical skills just across the barrier because we're so focused on that outcome. We're not focused enough on the process. But just my 2 cents.
Okay. Quick comment there. Come in. They are agreeing or saying no with y'all in the comments. Kendall says, and stop dumping kids in the art, band, and dance because you don't offer enough electives or you need a sub. Oh, that's a topic in a second. Don't worry. We're going to come back to that. Tiffany Clark, teaching and knowing your craft are 2 different things. There is an art to teaching as well.
It's a gift.
And Kiana says, thanks for the tip, Devondria.
You're welcome, girl.
The next one says, is your community involved in arts education? When we say community, it doesn't think broad. Is our community, it could be on ethnicity, it could be the school community, it could be church community, it could be any of the communities.
I think on the Caucasian side of dance, yes. On the Black and brown side of it, no. I don't think we are as involved as we should be, because if we were, then we'd be able to put a lot of people, like keep a lot of businesses open specifically. I don't think our community are as involved as their communities are in that aspect.
Okay. Next question. See, look, we get through these. We traveling through. Okay, we hit the hard topics first. Okay, the next one says, why are the performing arts programs minimizing in numbers in urban areas? Oh my God, now this is a good one, but I'm gonna let y'all give it in your
in
editing.
Schools, or are you talking about community, like community program? Are you talking about specifically in school?
I think both. In school, in some capacity, but mainly in the urban areas that service the minority kids. I think that question is more minority based. Why are they minimizing in urban areas? Because we do traditionally see in a lot of our inner city areas that the arts programs numbers are low. When you think about band in 2000, most bands were pushing 80 over to 250. You know, I'm watching a 250 band in high school, piece band in high school. And then we look now, and many of the bands are lucky to have 80 members. So, or drill teams, you know, they used to be 100 deep. Of course, now we know we keep our numbers low for budgetary reasons, but and other reasons as well. But
quality.
We see those numbers dwindling. So why?
The first word that came to my mind is laziness. People are lazy, and it's not just the kids. It's the kids, the parents, the teachers. Direct laziness. And I'm gonna just leave that there.
I don't think those programs are managed well. Honestly, I don't think they're managed for long-term sustainability. They are built to stroke someone's ego at the time. Mm-hmm. And I grew up in an era where it was a bunch of us in band, and like, you know, you'll hear people say, well, band was the only thing available. When I came up, no, it wasn't. It was a choice to be in band. It was still a choice to do that, and we chose it. But I think those programs are just poorly managed across the board. They're poorly managed by principals. I think they're poorly managed by teachers, and you know, they're built to stroke egos, not for kids to continue to go through those programs.
I also think, really quickly, to plug this in, and I'm gonna read these comments that came in dealing with these topics. I also think that we have an oversaturation of programs provided at a lot of our schools. If the school only has 700 kids, let's just say, throw that number out there. If they only have 700 kids and you have 25 clubs and 10 sanctioned extracurricular activities, how are you splitting 700 kids? There are more opportunities for them than there are students to fulfill the roles. So I feel like, in my opinion, from what I've said before, we have too many programs sometimes in schools. And I love that they have so many options, but we have to say, okay, these schools are going to have these options. These schools have these options. And if you want an option that's not at the school, then that's where we can kind of figure out a way for you to get that option or to go somewhere where that option is offered. But I think having too many programs can be a kill to many other programs, such as the fine arts, because there are other opportunities that are competing with the student population at the same time as our programs do. And they don't necessarily cost them anything on top of that. Mm-hmm. So then it makes it easy for them to go somewhere else, where over here it costs you time, it costs you money, it costs you something, you know. So that's here is a couple of comments, and we're almost at the end of our questions. We breezed through a lot of them. Tiffany Clark says, not early enough, but I think it's multiple reasons why, including financial and access. Just my opinion. She was talking about the other question we asked prior to that. Tony Delisha Williams says, they play like it's funding, but that's a topic for another day. I remember when they first took out band from elementary in Dallas, and I hate it to this day. Bring it back. Bad decision, my choice. Tiffany Clark says facts. Alexandria Morris says, I also think that after COVID, a lot of the kids had to take on the responsibility of the parents. I've seen a lot of students that wanted to do the craft, but they didn't have the support from their parents and had to go to work. That is a fact. Oh, we could stay on that topic all day. That's another topic for another day. Okay. Next question. Why do we support athletics more when the percentage of success, I told you we're going to hit this question, when the percentages of success are less than those in performing arts? When we talk about financing, success rate, all of that, I feel like those statistics have always proven that those kids in fine arts / performing arts have had a high success rate, not so much as academic wise, but in getting scholarships, getting financial assistance, getting out in the real world and having a position in the field of where they want to go. We see that happen a little more than in athletics because we know it's a very select few. Why do we feel like parents always tend to go that way? And I know we started to kind of touch on it, but is there any additional statements I want to put on that?
The first thing that comes to mind to me is scholarships. I think people have in their mind, and in some cases it is true, you don't get as many scholarships in dance or in certain fields that you do in athletics. And so a lot of times I'll hear, well, I can get scholarships if I run track, or I can get scholarships if I play volleyball. And that may be true, but also like thinking about there are so many different types of scholarships out there. You don't have to depend on a school to say, hey, we like you for this athletic activity that you do. Because a lot of kids don't realize when you take an athletic scholarship, that school pretty much owns you, and you can't do anything outside of that contract or you lose that money. Even in academics versus going and doing the work, because my mother used to find scholarships for high school students. That was her thing. And doing the work to find scholarships that you can take and hold on to without any extra stipulations. People just lazy. Mm-hmm. They want to do the easy thing, and it always bites them in the butt.
Mm-hmm. I will also say, I think that we don't do a good enough job of also changing the narrative about going into fine arts. Like a lot of parents think that, I say everybody want to be Beyonce, but nobody want to be Tina. Right. Everybody, you want to see your child on the stage, but you don't know a performer. To see that performer on stage, there are 6 other employees in 6 different fields that feed into that. Mm-hmm. So your child, because they're choosing a dance, does not mean they don't get access to everything else. And I think sometimes, one thing, and I told Hope this, is be visible. And be visible for the kids that look like us, because you need to know that we can do it. I don't think that we are visible enough sometimes to the people who really need it.
Absolutely, for sure. Because when I took the kids to TWU, some of the kids like, you went here? And it's like, yeah, I can be here. Like, we can occupy occupy so many different spaces. There is no limit to what we can do and what we're capable of. We can be anywhere, we can do absolutely anything. You just have to know that. And that's why I think Brandon said earlier, exposure is so important.
Yes.
It really is. A couple of comments that are on what y'all are talking about right now. Dr. Evelyn Forte Jones says, hey, the two left feet. Crockett, do you think dance coaches need to work with their team on a full-time basis while working with other teams? Do you think this affects the students? Devondria, do you think the captain should run a high school team part-time?
I will say to that question, it depends on the coach. It depends on how you're able to balance. I personally coached the Bluebells and did studio and did ministry and did a lot of different other things. And it's doable, but you have to know your priorities, and you have to have the capacity, the ability to feed all of those things. And then, like, I learned after I had children, I couldn't do so much because I need to feed my, pour into my kids as well. So you just have to know your limits. You have to know your strengths. Some people are very much capable of doing it without it affecting the team, because you also have, like, I've had dancers that dance for me, but also dance for a community team. And it's our job to work with each other. I did not allow that to clash. I did not allow that to get in the way of her success. We knew what her strengths were. We knew what she needed to work on. So I would help her through that process. But I know so many coaches that will make a child kind of tug of war. It is doable to share different things. And so I think for students and teachers, it's possible. You just have to know what you're good at and what you're not good at and be real about it.
And to the second question, echoing a bit off what Hope said, also knowing your limits, I do think that your captain should have some form of leadership with your students, but I don't think that a coach should not be there. Like, I would not have my captains in lieu of a sponsor. And I say that just because in dance, it's a safety thing, right? I can't trust that you're going to teach the skill correctly. But do I trust you to do warm up because we have a set warm up routine? Yes. Do I trust you to in practice? Absolutely. But do I think in this new age with kids, would I just leave them? Like sometimes we were left back in the day to run practice because that's just, our teachers were being teachers. But now I would not. There's no way I would even feel comfortable knowing the skills that they have to master to be quote unquote good in this era. I would not leave another child to coach another child without.
And then does that make you are you the director at that point, right, or is the child the director?
Because at that point you a sponsor. You're not a coach.
You a sponsor. You just facilitating.
Wait a minute, not too much though, because I will say because y'all know I taught a core subject.
Yeah.
So I had meetings, tutoring, all the things.
But that's different, Brandon. No.
Some people like to leave just because they don't want to come out with my
team. But I used to make my captains run practice because, like I told them, I'm training you for the next level of leadership.
And that's what you should do.
So, but I was always close, and they had a checklist of things they had to do, and I made sure to inspect every single thing I put on the checklist. And if the team did not respect them, not the captains, but if there were people on the team that could not respect the leadership that was at hand, they got exited.
But that's a system you set up, Brandon. That goes back to being a great coach. That's a system. Like, your kids knew better. Come in here and know how to step and see what happens.
Yeah. And you have to coach them up to be that, because how many times have we had to not be at practice because we were in staff development or something?
Correct.
That's a thing, but not being there is a whole different conversation.
That's definitely that is. Whitley Nicole says, I think people are not building programs anymore and focused on right now and not preparing it to succeed beyond our time there. And Tiffany Clark says, that's true, Whitley. And Tiffany Clark says, one of many reasons, whole lot of parents living or trying to have do-overs through their kids. And then, of course, on Instagram, Key Couture has been saying that's right. And that was me to some of the things y'all were giving as examples. So, look, the people are chiming in. We are down to our last 2 questions and our closing question for our people. And we're going to be done. Y'all, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to get them off of here. So, we're about to hit this quick. All right. So, here we go. It says, how can we support the arts program? You can give it whatever you want to say.
Oh, you got some.
Go ahead, Hope.
I would say the biggest thing, and we've heard this plenty of time throughout this conversation, literally it's in the question, support.
Yeah.
Be there, back us up. If we're directing your children and you have trusted us and you said, I want my child to be a part of this program, you have to let us run our program. Now, if it's a concern, if it's safety concern, you be vocal about that. You go to whoever you need to go to make sure that that gets handled. But if this is a program that you like and you trust, you have, when we make decisions like your child is not performing this week, let it be. We know what we're doing. And I know that that's been problematic for a lot of people, but I want to say as a coach, I never had issues because I built connections with my parents. I talked to my parents. I communicated my expectations with them. And when I tell you wholeheartedly, my parents trusted me because I did not treat them like they were outsiders. They were a part of this because at the end of the day, we're all a village, and our ultimate goal is to set our children up for success. And when they realize that after talking to me and communicating, and I guarantee all of them will vouch to this, I've had to sit people out a whole season, but they trusted me and their kids were better for it and they're thankful for it. And so the biggest thing is let us support your kids because that is what we're called to do. Maybe not most
of us.
Some of us we're called into this ministry and we take it very seriously. And realistically, when parents see your heart because they see the passion behind what it is that you do, they're going to trust you. And if y'all have trust issues, just like in any relationship, it ain't going to work. So you as a coach also have to put in the time and the effort to build those connections and build those relationships and trust with your parents and the community at large.
Go buy a ticket. Like, I mean, sharing, and if all you can share is like, comment, and subscribe, by all means, you do that. But go buy a ticket to a spring show. Go pay for somebody jazz shoes. Be a patron of the programs around you. Like, go. Every school has a spring show. Go. If you don't want to go to that, go to a football game. Buy a t-shirt. Like, I love that we are all about building a village, and Hope is right, but we can't do it being broke.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know no other way to say it. Like, financially, put your money where your mouth is. Go support the kids because that's what they need. We have enough hugs and tears. Give me $1.
Give me
and
10.
And the reality is too, you put your money behind so many other things without a question.
Okay.
And when it comes to the arts, we nickel and dime it, and we're some of the most expensive programs to run. And I'm going to even go back to last week's episode with our legendary band directors. Baskin said, your child bought a uniform. They don't get them on the field. Okay. You paid your money for the uniform. That doesn't guarantee performance. That guarantees they have a uniform when the time comes to perform. So and we have to understand that and make sure that we understand that being cut is not a bad thing. Being cut is building character. Being cut is building that grind. Being cut is making them understand that I have to continue to fight and work for it so that I can be on the field. Because if you don't want to not be on the field, then you got to do what it takes not to be cut. It's an expectation. And we have to meet the expectation. We can't lower the bar for your child to meet. Okay. Tiffany Clark says, hold kids accountable and continue the expectations at home that are set by the coaches. And that's true. We are partners. We are a partnership, and we have to continue that as a partnership. Our final question before our closing remarks from our guest says, how do you keep your love of the arts alive when experiencing a burnout?
A lot of times it's because you see yourself in the kids. So I feel like that's what drives me. And I feel like, yes, I still have, a lot to learn and grow into, but I'm able to give what I know now. And I'd rather do that than see them doing something else, not good for them. I'd rather them be motivated by somebody positive like me and someone who's driven like me. So I think that what helps me, because even though a lot of times I say this a lot, I say, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. And I'll be there early before them, ready to work. So I think, yeah, seeing what it does, seeing them be successful.
To piggyback on that, knowing what it did for me, one of the shirts that I created for the district this year was "Dance Changed My Life." I know what dance did for me. I know that kept me in school, that kept me excited about waking up and going to practice and just doing things, getting a chance to experience something greater than myself. That helps prevent burnout. Getting into classes, keep feeding yourself movement vocabulary, going into spaces to build yourself back up. But one thing our kids don't realize, and I had to tell my kids yesterday at competition, we pour into you and we feed you. The least you could do is pour back into me by showing me that you are listening to what I'm saying, that you hear the notes that I've given you, that you want to be here, because there's nothing worse, y'all, and more draining than working with kids that don't show appreciation for you. It is very draining. It's hard to get through that. But when you're dealing with kids who y'all can feed off of each other, and you know that they're gaining that information, that's what helps prevent the burnout for sure.
Amen.
For me, it's honestly returning to class. When you work in arts administration, the adults are gonna piss you off a lot of the times. And I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry. What is the last question? I'll be honest. They're gonna piss you off a lot of the time, especially when you're dealing with adults who don't know your content. You're dealing with adults who are, stakeholders and trustees. They're gonna piss you off. But going back to the craft of it, like making myself a student of it again, is what keeps me going. Whether it's a good class or, I'm a dork, I like to read, whether it's a good dance book, whether it's even a good conversation, like picking up the phone and calling one of y'all and just talking about it. I think all of that keeps me going in moments where I'm like, I'm over this.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to say this really quick. I'm just going to chime in, and mine is easy. It's return on investment. Literally, for me, it was return on investment. I've invested so much of my life, so much of my finances, so much of everything into you, that it's the return on investment. My burnout is watching you continue to grow. And every time I see another performance where I can say, they got it. They got it today, or they're close to having it, I then want to come back and work harder, because I know you're right at the cusp of crossing a new line that you didn't have yesterday or whenever. And so it's the return on investment for me. Comment says, Whitney Nicole says, I've had to stop seeing my kids as a direct reflection of me and appreciate their individual and collective growth, understanding that my program is a tool for many of my kids to not only build skill, but to just find friends and find a sense of belonging. Ultimately, stop being a perfectionist, specifically in public education, dance, while still having a high expectation for them. That's a hard thing. It is, because your expectations are what they are. But we have to also understand that it takes a lot of growth and time.
It does.
And it won't happen as quick as we want to. Tiffany Clark says, I don't teach the arts, but working as a therapist, pouring into and taking the other's stuff, setting boundaries and being intentional / prioritizing self-care, and remembering why I started this to begin.
Amen.
She said that she meant teach in one of those words. Okay. Final question, closing question. They've made it to the end. Thank y'all again so much for an amazing conversation. And I am sorry we are over time, but y'all know it was a struggle. Y'all know the struggle was real, but we're here. So with that being said, closing question is for each of you. If you could change the way we support the performing arts, what would that look like in your mind? And the reason I asked this question, this is a me specific question, is because I know y'all are heavy with ideas, heavy with love, and heavy with knowledge in all of these areas. And I feel like putting it out there in the atmosphere for you two could simply open doors you don't even know that are about to open. So my question was very specific. If you could change the way we support the performing arts, what would that look like?
Okay.
That's a hard question.
Loaded.
That's a very loaded question. The first thing that comes to my mind is stop putting limits on us. I'm not just a dancer.
Yes.
I'm not just an educator. I am so much more than that. And when people learn, just accept the fact that being in an arts classroom can change the way a child simply sees themselves, sees who they are and what they're capable of, that opens the doors for that engineer opportunity, for them to be an architect, for them to see that they can change the world. So it's not just about dance and the arts and all that stuff. It's about we're pouring into your kids so much so that we forget to pour into ourselves, and so much. And I can assure that y'all can attest to the fact that we forget to pour into our own families because we care about these people's future. Stop putting limits on us and our kids and what we can do and how much money we should have and how many teachers we should have and how many people should be in our program. Stop with the limitations. Because no one likes to be boxed in. Nobody likes limits. And realistically, y'all can keep on, but it's going to make us drive harder. It's going to bring them visions to life. And it's going to get to a point where you can't stop us. Okay. I'm going to just stop right there.
For tonight, I'm gonna say I would love to see us put some respect on the name of fine arts. Like, I want the same respect that a core subject gets, because by the state of law in Texas, fine arts is a core subject. So treat us with that proper respect that you give everyone else, even down to how we treat electives. CTE carry so much weight, but put the respect on what we do in our classrooms. We're not just building artists, we're building kids to think. You know my word. Yes, you are. We are building art citizens, but we're teaching kids how to think creatively. We're teaching kids how to not create the wheel. Because, like, personally, I can't take too many versions of Lion King anymore. So, like, put some respect on artists' name, because there is a creative shortage. And I know we don't talk about it a lot, but the world still needs creative people. Everybody's not going to be a doctor or engineer or a rocket scientist. Hell, some of us don't even care enough. So, like, you know, respect fine arts for what it is and advocate for us for what it could be. That's how I would love to see us, support fine arts in a way.
And even if they go on to be doctors, engineers, architects, the creative mind in those spaces, how to problem solve, how to look at things from a different perspective, how to utilize your hands and your body parts to make a difference, to do something that no one else has ever done before, to solve problems that people been trying to figure out for many, many years. Stop putting limitations on us, because we can go into any field. I guarantee we can go into any field and be great and exceed everyone's expectations. We're not just creating arts citizens or art students or artists. We're creating citizens that will go out into this world and solve the problems that people cannot solve.
And for all of my artists out there, whether you stayed in this or stayed in fine arts or not, shift the tables to you. walk to those tables confident because you bring something that no one else at that table can understand. And let me tell you something, they're going to try and figure it out. They are going to try and figure out how your brain works, how you are wired differently. But you being an artist is a core of who you are. It will totally change the way you handle situations.
Amen. Okay. So, with everything that we've talked about today and everything that you all do, what is you guys' state of the auxiliary? This is the ending. You say you know what you think the state of the auxiliary is. You're gonna dismiss you and just leave us with something. No, I'm ready. I'm already.
State of the auxiliary, point blank period. Y'all know how I feel about this. I'm very passionate about this. It's in a space where if you're not holding on, this ride is going to take you. You're going to fall off the ride. Y'all better hold on, because where it is, there's so much history. There's so much richness. We've been underappreciated for so long that this is the time for us to stand up and show people and tell people what we are about. As far as auxiliary, I'm very blessed to be in this world. I'm thankful to be a part of this world, even with my having a different background. But it's about to take off, and if you're not holding on, you're going to miss out.
Okay. Devondria?
One, it's so weird to hear you call me Devondria. I 100% agree.
It's a struggle to say it.
100% agree, but I also think the experts are taking the microphone back. And right now we're seeing that shift in reform, and I am excited for it. I mean, I think we're about to see that, dare I say it, but I think we're about to hit that 2005, 6, 7 realm again. Yeah. Like once everybody kind of get where they supposed to be, I think that we are about to see a shift. And Hope is right. If you are not in the world right now, you really already missed it.
Yeah,
because now we're all moving ahead. I'm excited. Like, I am excited, baby. Oh.
And one thing I want to say, and while it is being reformed, there are so many lanes for so many people. I don't want people to get caught up in like, I can't be here and I can't do this. Baby, there's a place for us all. And as a people, we got to stop trying to close doors and shut people out. Allow the experts to come in, because all we want to do is be greater than we were. Into like, we're gonna go back to that era, but we want to be greater. We don't want to come back and people come back into the scene like, oh, this the same. That means we sick and we not growing. And so as this stuff starts to take off and do what it's going to do naturally, because it's so beautiful and it's so rich in culture and in history, everyone has a place, and everyone should be accepted for who they are and what they bring to the table, because the table is more than big enough.
And the table will shift, okay?
It will shift.
Y'all, I really want to thank y'all for being a part of our podcast tonight, bringing your expertise, bringing your knowledge, bringing your true opinions as best as you could give them, and giving your love and passion to the people, and having this conversation with us, because it needed to be talked. But I think y'all have dropped so many nuggets here tonight that we're going to be feeding off of this for the rest of the week. And of course, the clips that I'm about to release on y'all, they're going to be good. I can't wait for these 1 minute clips to come out. So Tiffany Clark says, and the arts build confidence in students so they are fearless enough to be creative and go for their dreams. Whitney Nicole said, I enjoyed this conversation. Thank you. Y'all, give it up again for our guest that have been gracious enough to be after our time frame to stay and finish these questions and give us their knowledge, their expertise, and their poise. We want to say, me and Craig definitely want to say thank y'all again. We love that y'all came, and we will have you back, because y'all got way more to pour on some other topics that we did not get into tonight. But thank y'all so much. I'm going to drop you ladies down so that you can go take care of your families and things and get ready for the hard day that we're going to have tomorrow at work, because it is a Monday in the education world. Okay. But thank y'all so much again. And I hope you enjoyed this conversation tonight. All right, we're going to drop them down. Thank y'all so much. Look, Quay, this was a show tonight.
Honestly, it was a blessing to have them here, because not only did they talk about supporting the kids, but you motivated adults, including me, tonight, just with being who you are and talking and sharing your expertise. So we need more of that in our communities. Like, we need more of that.
We definitely do. I think that conversation from the administrative, like I said, we've been coming from different angles each week, giving you a different angle that has to deal and work with the auxiliary realm, so that you're not just hearing it from dancers, you're not just hearing it from twirlers, you're not just hearing it from color guards, you're not just hearing it from the coaches, but you're hearing it from people in all different aspects and realms who have a stake, who've had stake in the game, who have stake in the game, who continue to push the world forward, whether it be through their legacy or through their works now. And we appreciate each person that has come on this panel and graced us with their knowledge and their nuggets and all of the information they poured out, because this is going to help us continue to go back and make our auxiliary world stronger. And that's the goal. That's auxiliary. That's the state of the auxiliary and auxiliary the collegiate way. Okay, because baby, you know it's coming. Baby, Miss Forte says these women are brilliant. Yes, they are. Miss Forte and Lashita Skinner. I'm sorry, Lashita, if I keep stumbling your name. She said, baby, bravo, baby, bravo. Tiffany Clark said, beautiful job. We love this. Now look, y'all know, I got to leave you with one little quick video clip. So they kept talking about movement and understanding your body and how your body moves. And although I had quite a few videos I could have shown tonight, the conversation was too good to continue to interrupt us with those clips. And you never know. I have a lot of clips a lot of the times. I just don't always show them. But I'm always prepared. And so this clip here is Crockett teaching movement in a class and just going through like a kind of a movement routine. I don't know if it was a routine or not, but it's still movement and understanding your body and how different movement creates different reactions. And so if you'll watch, you'll see they're kind of mimicking her movement. And I'm going to press play here as we kind of watch this short clip before we leave.
Yeah.
And so this is movement, understanding your movement of your body, how to correctly execute, getting into the body posture and the movement it takes to execute those moves. Although it may seem simple, it is not as simple as one may think that it is. So we definitely want to make sure we continue to show that. Now, look, comment of the night, baby. I had to start this and come back to it because if you don't have a shirt, okay, DG Fine Arts will be coming out with this shirt soon. We're going to speak it into existence. Effort is not rewarded. It's required, okay? Effort is not rewarded. It's required. Comment of the night. Look, DG Fine Arts, wherever you are right now, please drop the shirt so we can put it up here for merch, okay? Because that is...
I'm buying.
That, baby, sold already before the creation of, sold. Effort is not rewarded, it's required. Please keep that in your daily habit as you go out here and coach and kids on a daily basis. Quay.
Yes, Brandon.
This show has been amazing.
It really was.
Amazing. We're going to close out, but with that being said, please don't forget, if you're in the Dallas area or close to, please go out and support It's Too Loud Jamboree. Okay, that is this coming weekend on May 4th, 2024. You're going to see 5 great bands battling it out, old school style, right here at Forster Field Stadium in Dallas, Texas. Come out and support Townview Magnet High School, the Big D Band. I'm an alumni from there, so you know they're going to always do what Townview does. Sunset High School, the Bison Band, okay? the Purple Marching Machine, I believe is their name. Please, if I got it wrong, please don't get mad at me, but I believe that's their name.
That's right.
Samuel Marching Sound System, okay, who is also part host of this. Carter High School Cowboy, the Cowboys. Carter High School coming in. We just had basket on last week, so we know the rich history of Carter. And last but definitely not least, that good old Kimball Night Train coming on through here at the Battle of the Bands on May 4th, presented to you or sponsored by DG Fine Arts and WW Samuel Marching Sound System Band Booster Club. I did make a post on my personal page with the link so you can get your tickets there or buy at the gate if you so choose. All right. Don't forget Auxiliary Collegiate Way. It's coming June 3rd through 7th. Buy your tickets now. Make sure you go out and purchase your tickets. We have it posted. We've been putting out information all over social media. So make sure you go out and follow us at Auxiliary the Collegiate Way so that you can make sure your child is there to get this instruction, guys. We are bringing some of the best, and we have so much in store for them this year. Quay, any last words before we get up out of here?
Once again, thank you for supporting us. Continue to support us. I'm telling y'all, we're building greatness here. And just thank y'all.
Keep in mind that this podcast is brought to you by Passion in Performance. All right. So make sure that you continue to support all things Passion in Performance. All right. So, guys, I am Brandon Banks again, your moderator, and I appreciate you for all that you have done, for all the comments and the participators. Remember, effort is not rewarded. It's required. Okay, baby. That's going to be our new statement right there, baby. That bar's going to last me all year long. That's enough for a lifetime, baby. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoy your night. Thank y'all again. And we can't wait to see you next week on the State of the Auxiliary Podcast. All right. Bye, y'all. I will see y'all next week.
Hey, y'all, I'm Coach Quay.
And I'm Coach Brandon.
And we're inviting you to come join us at Auxiliary the Collegiate Way. You'll be getting trained by some of the best HBCU dancers in the SWAC. You'll be learning marches and struts, stance, and choreography. This is not your ordinary stand camp. You'll be learning some of the baddest field shows on the floor.
And this camp is not just for the dancers, it's also for our twirlers and our color guard. That's right, we have collegiate instructors coming specifically to train our twirlers and our color guards on the level it takes to be a collegiate twirler and a collegiate color guard on the field and in the stands.
Oh, and don't forget about the showcase.
That's right, the showcase. On June 7th, we're inviting you out to come support the campers as we put on a showcase. Last year's showcase was amazing, so imagine what this year's showcase will be. The camp dates are June 3rd through 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Camp registration per dancer is $150. However, if you are a team and you're going to be bringing 10 or more dancers, we have a special payment link for you. Hit us personally on the Passion in Performance contact. All right? Make sure you come out. Quay, let's get out of here. Hit him with the ocean beat. Oh, you ain't leaving me behind. I'm coming right